This page is the cover of SEGA Saturn magazine, dated May 29, 1998, priced at 380 yen. The cover prominently features characters from the hit series Sakura Wars, specifically Sakura Shinguji, Kana Kirishima, and Sumaire Kanzaki. The main highlight is a massive 24-page special dedicated to Sakura Wars, presenting a complete strategy guide covering LIPS system choices, chain events, and a comprehensive look at the game from all angles. The cover also teases significant news with a headline about Sega's next machine announcement on May 21st, a crucial date pointing towards the unveiling of the Dreamcast. Additionally, there's a must-see report on the dark fantasy RPG Baroque, including a 12-page special report and news about its simultaneous release strategy guide. Other games covered include Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, Grandia Digital Musea, Code Arl, the sequel Daytona USA 2, Super Robot Wars, F Final Chapter, Welcome to Pia Carrot 2, the classic RPG Magical Tale, and the survival horror title, Deep Fear. The magazine promises full coverage of the latest SEGA Saturn software alongside these major features. This page provides an exciting look at D2, the highly anticipated sequel to the original D. The prominent red logo clearly announces the game's title, D2, alongside its Japanese title, D2. Featured is the familiar face of Laura Lewis, the protagonist from the first game, confirming her involvement in this new mystery. The vertical text proclaims, which translates to, "The memory of ice revives," strongly suggesting a return to a chilling, possibly frozen setting, a theme that aligns with the final released version of D2. The enigmatic phrase, "runs under," is repeated, a cryptic detail that might relate to the game's development status or the technology it was utilizing at the time, potentially hinting at the M2 platform it was initially planned for before its move to Dreamcast. The presence of the Warp logo confirms the developer behind this survival horror adventure. This page serves as a clear announcement piece, indicated by the text about inquiries regarding the game's production press conference, building anticipation for Warp's next immersive experience. The next page is a major announcement for Warp's highly anticipated title, D2, the follow-up to the original D. It's centered around a production press conference billed as a world's premium show, scheduled for May 23, 1998, at the Tokyo International Forum. Headline boldly declares that 5,000 people will witness this historical moment as D2 makes its first appearance. The article reveals key details about the game. It picks up 3.5 years after D, with protagonist Laura Lewis crashing in midwinter Canada. The story begins in this permafrost landscape, and Warp, known for its CG prowess, is tackling the challenging rendering of a white world using high-performance, real-time 3D CG. The game promises a realistic, terrifying, and emotional experience where players step into Laura's shoes. The press conference itself is free and open to the first 5,000 attendees. The event features a screening of the opening movie, a live demonstration of the game running on actual hardware, a music performance, and a special guest, Hideki Saijo, known for his passionate rendition of Kizu Darake no Laura. Attendees will receive exclusive gifts, including a special pamphlet, a Laura doll, and a D2 promotion video. For those unable to attend, an internet broadcast was planned. An information hotline with Kenji Ino's voice providing guidance was also available. This event clearly generated significant buzz, highlighting Warp's ambitions and setting the stage for D2's arrival. This page is a vibrant announcement for Dragon Force 2, the sequel to the acclaimed strategy RPG. It details the game's release date as Thursday, May 21st, priced at 6,800 yen plus tax. The game is presented as a new type of strategic battle simulation, blending collecting trading cards with intense battles, featuring combinations of 40 unique characters. A significant feature highlighted is its support for X-Band, allowing players to engage in online versus matches. The game offers 5 different modes, including Story Mode and Versus Mode. Character designs are by Susumu Matsushita. The page showcases various characters from the game, like Kendra, Maximilian, Tusker, Rebecca, Rachel, and others, alongside small screenshots of the battle system and collection screen. Special character profile cards are noted as an inclusion with the game. This page is an announcement for the SEGA Saturn game, Shadows of the Dusk, featuring the Japanese subtitle, One Nightmare. The page showcases striking character art rather than screenshots, illustrating a diverse cast including a fierce warrior woman, monstrous creatures, and a robotic figure. The game is described as a character battle simulation for 1 or 2 players, and notably supports the SEGA Saturn modem, indicating online multiplayer capabilities. Character design is handled by Susumu Matsushita, known for his distinctive style, also seen in Dragon Force 2. Published by Hudson Soft, the game is listed with a suggested retail price of 20,000 yen excluding tax. The page highlights the SEGA Saturn platform and its online features. This page is the table of contents for the magazine, dated May 29, 1998, Volume 16. The main feature, starting on page 118, is a comprehensive guide to Sakura Wars 2, covering everything from relationship choices with the LIP system to chain events, promising a complete strategy and a deeper dive into the game. The contents also highlight a scoop on the latest arcade racer, Daytona USA 2. Battle on the Edge, on page 20, promising more excitement. Page 26 covers the concluding part of the Super Robot Wars F series, Super Robot Taisen F Kanketsuhen. A special report on page 32 focuses on the latest information regarding Hot Topic games, including new titles like Pia EU Koso 2, Madu Monogatari, and Revolutionary Girl Utena. Someday Revolutionize Story. Other titles covered include Deep Fear, Shadows of the Tusk, Linda Cube Complete, Langrisser V, The End of Legend, and Another Memories. Finally, page 116 features a discussion about Real Sound 2 Wind Organ with Koji Izuka. The page also features artwork of a character with spiky blonde hair, holding a large weapon, typical of the era's character designs. This page continues the table of contents, offering a comprehensive look at the magazine's features. The standout section is the Especially Special Report on page 66, providing in-depth coverage of major titles like the atmospheric RPG Baroque, the beloved sequel Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, the unique Grandia, Digital Museum, and the visual novel Code R, alongside a special ESP-themed giveaway. Other significant articles include the new release title, Breakdown on page 144, featuring recent Saturn arrivals such as Pocket Fighter, Konami Antiques, MSX Collection, Ultra Pack, and Multilancer Reinforce. Page 148 previews, Coming Soon Soft, highlighting anticipated games like the Saturn port of Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, and Waku Waku Monster. Page 164 offers a complete guide to recently released hits, including thorough strategies for Dragon Force 2 and Shining Force 2. Scenario 2. Beyond these features, the table lists regular segments covering reader contributions, strategy data for simulations like Winning Post 3 and Nobunaga's Ambition, Shoseiroku, and news from Sega's AM divisions, even touching on arcade titles like Radiant Silvergun. The page is graced with captivating character artwork from Sakura Wars 2. This page dives into the exciting future of Sega, announcing the upcoming next-generation machine, codenamed Dream, which was revealed on May 21st. The announcement highlighted the powerful Shesh 4 processor at its core. Just 2 days later, on May 23rd, a separate event for D2 is scheduled, with speculation that this might be a reveal from Warp, showcasing the new hardware's capabilities. Industry voices from the distribution side share their perspective, acknowledging the challenges facing the current Saturn market and stressing the importance of a solid software lineup and distribution strategy for the success of the new console. Looking ahead, the page confirms the dates for Tokyo Game Show 98 Autumn, set for October 10th and 11th at Makuhari Messe, sparking rumors that this could be the venue for the public debut of Sega's new system. The page also includes a photo from a vibrant live stage event. This page highlights several exciting events and significant industry news from early May 1998. First up, Tokyo Joytopolis was the place to be during Golden Week, hosting a variety of events with a French theme leading up to the World Cup. They opened a new official shop, JP Gear, selling over 300 types of exclusive merchandise, from clothing to mugs, perfect for fans looking for souvenirs. The page shows photos of the shop and some of the events held, like the Amber Girl contest. In major industry news, Electronic Arts and Square have formed a joint venture. This establishes new companies in both Japan and the U.S. The U.S. company, Square Electronic Arts, has secured exclusive sales rights for Square's titles in North America, starting with the highly anticipated survival horror RPG, Parasite Eve, a screenshot of which is featured. Soccer is also a big theme, with the World Cup approaching. A Virtua Striker 2 tournament is announced, offering the winner an incredible prize: tickets to see Japan's opening match against Argentina in France. The Sega Saturn Festa in May is also getting in on the action, featuring events using the game World Cup 98 France Road to Win at Tokyo Joyopolis. Get your virtual cleats ready. Finally, the page briefly covers a cosplay dance party for the popular dating sim Sentimental Graffiti, where girls who dressed as characters from the game got free admission. There's also a small note correcting a previous article's copyright details. This page covers a mix of industry news and upcoming events. In a forward-thinking move for retail, game software stores are introducing an unmanned advisor system called Touch Go-Go. This system, using an interface similar to an arcade cabinet, allows customers to easily search for game titles and view promotional information simply by scanning a barcode. It aims to streamline shopping and provide valuable data for stores. For fighting game fans, there are a couple of notable events. A release event for the arcade version of Fighting Vipers 2 was held at a club called Candlestone, featuring battles set to Gabber music. Separately, a tournament for Street Fighter X2 took place ahead of its release, where players competed for a prize in a 2v2 format. There was also a techno and cosplay party called Unformat, held in Shibuya, bringing together fans of music and costume play. The page also features several music releases, including singles and albums from popular artists and groups. Relevant to gamers are the original soundtrack album for the game Baroque, and an album from Taito's sound team, Zuntata, featuring work from Shu. The music section also highlights the official soundtrack for Fighting Vipers 2, featuring 25 tracks from the arcade game, available now. This page features the duo Yurimari, who are the focus of the Today's Target of Saturn Users, Volume 15. The page includes an interview with the pair, discussing their background from the ASEAN project and their debut. They also touch upon their interests, including gaming, which is particularly relevant for Saturn users. In the interview, they mentioned several game titles. Yuri is noted as being strong in fighting games, specifically bringing up ESC-1 Grand Prix. They also discuss Parappa the Rapper and their experiences with Tetris and Shanghai, the Mahjong solitaire variant. Yuri admits to being poor at Tetris but skilled at Shanghai. This gives a glimpse into their personalities and gaming preferences. The profile section confirms their identities and music releases. Overall, the page highlights this musical duo and connects them to the gaming audience by exploring their leisure time and favorite games. This page presents the SEGA Saturn software sales ranking, showcasing the top 15 games selling well this week. Leading the charge at number 1 is the brand new release, Super Robot Wars FLA Final, which exploded onto the scene with massive sales in its debut period. Following closely at number 2 is another fresh title, Gun Griffon 2, showing strong initial performance. Last week's number 1, Vampire Savior, Darkstalkers 3, remains a robust seller, holding the third spot. Further down the list, we see the debut of Shining Force 2, I Part 2 at number 5, indicating continued interest in that popular series. Long-term hits like Sakura Wars 2, which is still selling incredibly well and has now surpassed 500,000 units cumulatively, maintain a high position at number 6. The arcade port of the House of the Dead also continues its impressive run, landing at number 9. The chart reflects a mix of high-demand new releases driving sales and popular older titles demonstrating enduring appeal. The commentary highlights Super Robot Wars Final's impressive start and suggests it could be a major hit, perfect for players looking for a deep, time-consuming game during the upcoming Golden Week holiday. SEGA Saturn users are eagerly anticipating game ports, as revealed by the SEGA Saturn Want to Convert User Data Top 20 list. This list, which reflects user desires, prioritizes titles like Final Fantasy, Super Robot Wars F Final, Marvel vs. Capcom, and Dragon Quest, as well as arcade hits like Tekken 3, Daytona USA 2, and Virtua Striker. Interest extends to various genres, including to Heart and Xenogears. Potential port updates for games like Welcome to Pia Carrot 2 and Metal Slug 2 are hinted at. The Show Up! Arcade Video Games Shop Data Top 15 reveals current arcade popularity. Virtua Fighter 3 TB and Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram led, followed by Tekken 3, The House of the Dead, and Marvel vs. Capcom. The 1 Point Check Game section highlights upcoming arcade releases, with Daytona USA 2, Battle on the Edge generating significant excitement. Other anticipated arcade titles include Fighting Vipers 2 and Virtua Striker 2, 98. This page presents the SEGA Saturn Hopeful New Software User Data Top 30, showcasing anticipated upcoming releases. Despite talk of new hardware, the magazine highlights that there are still significant Saturn titles on the horizon. Leading the pack at number 1 is Virtua Fighter 3, maintaining its previous position. Users are keenly interested in its development, especially hoping for a dedicated practice mode, a feature now standard in home fighting games. Coming in at second place is Grandia Digital Museum, a unique package that goes beyond a simple data collection, including mini-games, and even allowing players to revisit famous scenes from the main Grandia adventure. Securing the third spot is Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, which sees a significant revamp for its Saturn release, including newly drawn anime cutscenes. Development is progressing well, with voice recording already completed. The page also spotlights a couple of anticipated titles. Pocket Fighter, ranked 9th, brings popular Capcom characters in a super deformed style, with unique Saturn features like a running battle mode. A new entry at 26th, High School Terra Story, is a romance simulation game ported from PC, focused on themes of pure love. The full top 30 list features a variety of other highly anticipated games, including big names like Resident Evil 2, Langrisser, V, The End of Legend, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and Madu Monogatari. The page also specifically calls out Ojo-sama wo Nere, and a new Saturn version of Madu Monogatari for further attention. This page details the SEGA Saturn's software release schedule, focusing on releases from May to July and upcoming titles. The schedule reveals strong support for the console, featuring confirmed release dates for highly anticipated games. Recently released titles include Grandia Digital Museum and Lunar 2, Eternal Blue. Upcoming releases include Resident Evil 2, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Virtua Fighter 3, and more, showcasing diverse genres. The schedule also highlights ports like Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, and original titles like Shining Force 2i, Scenario 3. Compatibility details are provided, including support for various accessories, like the 4 MB RAM expansion and analog controllers. This release schedule indicates the SEGA Saturn remained vibrant, with substantial software still being released despite industry discussions about new hardware. This page serves as an advertisement for official strategy guides for the SEGA Saturn game, Pro Yaku Team wo Tsukuru. Let's make a pro baseball team. It announces the release of the Yarikomi Edition guide, aimed at dedicated fans of the baseball simulation and management title. The new guide is highlighted as a super thick, 256 pages, packed with information. Key features include searchable, complete data presented in an easy-to-read format, useful tips for player development covering training camps and coaching staff, comprehensive answers to player questions with strategies unique to the book, player rankings based on ability values, and crucial points for successful and profitable team management. The ad also mentions that an earlier guide, the Ikiki edition, is still popular and serves as a good preparation before diving into the deeper Yarikomi content. The new Yarikomi edition is priced at 1,300 yen, excluding tax, and the earlier Ikiki edition at 950 yen. Both guides are described as selling to great acclaim, indicating strong continued interest in the game and its complex mechanics. This shows that even simulation games with deep systems were well supported, with detailed guides on the Saturn platform. This page presents the weekly Reader's Check ranking for SEGA Saturn software, a feature driven by reader participation. As of May 15th, nearly 1,000 Saturn titles have been released. Readers submit their ratings for all available games, and the average score is used to create this dynamic ranking. Main content is a lengthy list detailing the current rank, previous rank, game title, genre, and the average score from all voters. While the full list isn't detailed here, the section highlights a fierce battle at the top. Super Robot Wars F Final Edition just missed the top spot, while Mobile Suit Gundam Giran's Ambition made a significant surge, posing the question of whether its rise is set to continue. The page features screenshots of both games, showing a character portrait and menu from Giran's Ambition and combat from Super Robot Wars Final Edition. The text emphasizes that this week's results represent an unprecedented showdown and encourages readers to anticipate the next issue's rankings. It also briefly mentions the upcoming 100th Reader Race celebration. This page continues the extensive Reader's Check ranking, listing dozens more titles from the deep catalog of SEGA Saturn games based on reader votes. While the full list covers games ranked from the 240s down into the 350s, It's part of the weekly reader feedback that drives the overall rankings. The main highlight here is a detailed look at Super Robot Wars Final Edition, which was just mentioned on the previous page as a top contender. Featured as a new super favorite, the game receives incredibly high average scores from readers, hitting 9.65 overall and 9.33 from this issue's voters. Screenshots showcase its intense mecha combat and a character portrait. Reader comments praise the game for its high level of completion, calling it the final form of the series. They highlight the extensive story, improved systems compared to Super Robot Wars Freen, the sheer volume of characters and units, and the exciting battle animations and cuteness. While some mention the increased difficulty and length, the consensus is overwhelmingly positive, emphasizing the enjoyment derived from the massive crossover of iconic robot series and the satisfying strategic gameplay. It's clear readers are highly impressed with how Final Edition delivers on the promise of the Super Robot Wars famous saga. This page introduces two highly serrated new releases based on reader feedback and continues the comprehensive Reader's Check rankings. Featured prominently is Gun Griffin 2, ranked 5th by readers. This mech simulation sequel from GameArts earned an outstanding 9.53 overall reader average, though the magazine staff scored it lower at 7.33. Readers were excited by the implementation of communication play using the Saturn link cable, a feature teased in the first game. They also appreciated the ability to pilot various mechs, improved graphics and effects, and the essential twin-stick support, which many found crucial for controlling the intense combat. While some noted initial difficulty with controls, the consensus praised the game's strategic depth and satisfying gameplay. Coming in at 6th place is Capcom's fighting game gem, Vampire Savior, The Lord of Vampire. It received incredibly high scores from both readers, 9.52 overall average, and the magazine staff, 9.66. A major highlight is the incredibly fast loading time, making the transition between fights almost instantaneous. Crucially, the game supports the 4 MB RAM expansion, enabling a near-perfect port of the arcade version, including characters like Donovan, Phobos, and Python, and excellent graphics. Fans were thrilled with the quality of the port, despite minor criticisms about the lack of dedicated training or survival modes. The right side of the page continues the extensive Reader's Race rankings, listing dozens more SEGA Saturn titles and their average reader scores in table format, following on from the rankings shown on the previous page. This page continues the lengthy SEGA Saturn Reader's Race rankings, presenting a sprawling table that lists hundreds of games alongside their previous rank, current standing, genre, and average reader score. This is essentially a data dump of reader feedback, showing the popularity and reception of a vast number of titles at this point in the console's life. A small commentary section highlights a notable rise in the rankings for Death Crimson, humorously declaring its enthronement as an emperor. It speculates whether a true Death Crimson might appear on Sega's next console. Screenshots show a scene from Death Crimson and the game Terra Cresta 3D, which is also mentioned as having rapidly dropped in rank. This page previews upcoming SEGA Saturn titles and engages readers with prediction contests tied to the ongoing Reader's Race. 3 anticipated games are featured: Shining Force 2i Scenario 2, Targeted Maiden, and SLG plus RPG, scoring an early average of 8.0, is praised for its improved navigation and story continuity, though some note longer load times and repetitive enemy designs. Roommate 3, Morning Shining in the Wind, an adventure title averaging 6.33, is highlighted for its extensive volume and focus on a single character, though it may be difficult for newcomers. Secret Sentai Metamor V, an ADV game also scoring 8.0, is recommended for anime fans for its enjoyable story and stress-free system, despite perhaps lacking deep gameplay. The magazine announces the upcoming 100th Reader's Race issue, anticipating a major showdown. A brief table provides a ranking of SEGA Saturn peripherals based on reader scores. Readers are invited to participate in prediction games for a chance to win SEGA Saturn software. One contest involves predicting the debut ranking of the game Baroque, while another challenges readers to guess the initial average score, odds, of Super Real Mahjong P7. Entry details are provided, including example postcard formats. Additionally, there's a giveaway where entrants can win sets of SEGA Saturn peripherals, including joysticks and cordless pads, along with a game of their choice. Previous contest winners are listed, highlighting successful predictions. The page also includes a section with short comments from readers on various topics. This page features a special report on the triumphant return of the arcade racing giant, Daytona USA 2, Battle on the Edge, marking its comeback after 4 long years since the original stormed the scene. Hailed as the fastest arcade game, this sequel makes a spectacular return to the arcade circuit. The article highlights the game's incredible success, boasting over 30,000 units sold worldwide, a record for a driving game at the time. It also notes its continued popularity, currently ranking in the top 3 for income generation in US arcades. The game runs on Sega's powerful Model 3 Step 2.0 board and supports up to 16 players. The magazine expresses excitement over the game's overwhelming sense of speed and stimulating sound, promising that the visuals will reignite the passion players had for the original Daytona USA, ushering in a new legend. Screenshots display the enhanced graphics and gameplay perspectives, including the in-car view and pit lane. This page continues the deep dive into the highly anticipated arcade return, Daytona USA 2. Battle on the Edge. The bold headlines announce the return of the legendary racing game, proclaiming that the heat is back. Developed by Sega's acclaimed AM2 lab with its assembled elite staff, the game is poised to bring back the thrill of the monster car racing. The article includes insights from producer Toshihiro Nagoshi, deputy manager of AM2 Lab, who discusses how the sequel aims to exceed the original, breaking new ground. Highlights include the overwhelming feeling of speed, the stimulating sound experience which was recorded in New York, and the promise of even more spectacular crash sequences. The page features various screenshots showing off the enhanced graphics, different camera angles, and the intense action, reinforcing the game's status as a powerful successor ready to capture the excitement of players once more. This page dives deeper into what makes Daytona USA 2 even better, highlighting the increased player options and intense courses. The game features 3 distinct courses: a returning beginner course now set in a tropical resort, a new intermediate course themed as an exciting amusement park, and a challenging super long city course. Each course is designed to offer a unique and thrilling experience. Complementing the varied tracks are 3 different stock cars tailored to different player types. The charming car is perfect for beginners, offering easy handling with a cute design. For the average player, the Scorpio provides a well-balanced ride. And yes, it's blue this time, unlike the red car from the original. Finally, the Phantom car is built for players who love to master drifting, described as a black beast perfect for pushing the limits. The game makes it easy to choose your course and car right from the menu screens. There's also a section explaining the real-world roots of the game in NASCAR stock car racing, touching on the history of the sport and the specific nature of the cars themselves, like how drivers enter through the window because there are no doors. It really emphasizes the authentic feel the game aims for. Daytona USA 2 definitely seems to be delivering on its promise of variety and excitement for all skill levels. Daytona USA 2 promises a thrilling arcade racing experience, building upon the original with enhanced technical capabilities. Developed by Sega AM2, the game features realistic physics for car behavior and detailed damage effects, including driver escape animations and pit crew actions. A key advancement is its network battle mode, supporting up to 16 players simultaneously. The arcade cabinet enhances immersion, with the standard version using the DRMS2 system for realistic rolling motion. The deluxe cabinet adds a crash impact generator for impactful collision feedback, similar to Scud Race, showcasing intense racing action and detailed environments on the Model 3 Step 2 board. The game's authenticity is highlighted with real-world stock car comparisons and driver entry. Daytona USA 2 aims to be the ultimate arcade racing experience. This page delves into the development of Daytona USA 2, emphasizing the contribution of a new generation of developers. Producer Toshihiro Nagoshi discusses the team's focus on creating a true sequel that captures the spirit of the original, incorporating technical advancements derived from Scud Race. He highlights the new development team, led by Makoto Osaki, who brought a gamer's perspective, having been a skilled player in titles like Virtua Fighter Kids and Scud Race. The team, composed of staff from Virtua Fighter 3 and Scud Race, aimed to build upon the fun aspects of the first game, informed by observing real stock car racing for added realism. The page also features a report on a stock car driving event held at Twin Ring Motegi, where participants experienced real racing, connecting to the game's theme. Screenshots showcase the game's detailed visuals and car damage system. This page features an extensive look at Daytona USA 2, presenting interviews and reports from the development team and magazine staff who experienced real stock car racing. Producer Toshihiro Nagoshi explains the game's design philosophy, emphasizing the goal of creating a fun and engaging experience that builds upon the original, while leveraging new technology. He discusses the focus on enjoyable gameplay, rather than just graphical fidelity, mentions potential features like large live monitors and 16-player battles, and praises the game's music. The article also explores whether the game's advanced visuals are a sign of what's to come for home consoles. Alongside the developer insights is a report from magazine staff, including someone named Chan, who participated in a real stock car driving event. Their accounts highlight the intense acceleration and unique handling of the cars, illustrating the real-world inspiration behind the game. The page conveys strong excitement for Daytona USA 2 and its imminent release in arcades. This page provides a detailed strategy guide for Super Robot Wars F Final, a simulation RPG priced at $6,800 for one player. This section focuses on the final chapter and specifically covers episodes 54 through 58. The guide highlights a crucial point in the story, where the player's team splits into two paths. One heading to space to confront the Zanskar Empire, while the other remains on Earth. The decision made here significantly impacts the subsequent scenarios. The space route involves the team overcoming obstacles like a DSC attack during their launch attempt, eventually reaching space with guidance from Sheila. Meanwhile, the ground route sees the remaining forces dealing with threats on Earth. The article mentions key moments and series involved in each path, such as the struggles against the Zanskar forces in space, or events on Earth involving Ideon, Getter-Robo, Evangelion, and even Domenkashu gaining new abilities. The guide indicates that this part of the game is quite challenging, with many players seeking help. The narrative accelerates dramatically after this split point, leading towards the game's conclusion. Screenshots show strategic map views and dynamic character portraits with cutons during battle sequences, illustrating the game's turn-based combat and character interactions. Chapter 54 of Super Robot Wars F Final, Time Limit, Part 1, tasks players with defeating all enemies before any allied battleship is destroyed or the time limit expires. Londo Bell preemptively attacks the Titans at Jaburo. Victory time directly affects the following scenario's time limit. Clearing quickly is beneficial. The guide recommends deploying main forces, but saving pilots with double action capabilities for Part 2 due to weaker enemies there. Sirocco appears on turn 3. Prepare units nearby. Defeating Rosamia before Sirocco's arrival is advised. Enemy reinforcements arrive from turns 1 to 5 at marked locations. Turn limit is 15, with Part 2 having a turn limit determined by subtracting this scenario's turns from 25. For Part 2, equip reserve units with powerful machines and enhance mobility, using parts like Mega Boosters and Apogee Motors, especially on fast units. The page also includes a map and Sirocco's character information. Chapter 55 of Super Robot Wars F Final, Time Limit, Part 2, requires players to reach a detonation device within a turn limit derived from the previous stage's completion time. Failure results in game over. Speed is paramount, utilizing highly mobile units, especially those with double action, to quickly advance. A small, focused attack force of 4 to 5 units is ideal, with other units included for experience gain. The guide gives specific advice regarding Alan's Black Wing, which appears in a hazardous position on turn 2. Players should use Accelerate and move the unit south immediately. Upgrading Blackwing is not recommended. Players should prepare for the next stage, which will feature significantly stronger enemies, by reassigning pilots to their preferred units. Initial enemy composition includes Ashamar, Gadfly, Violent, Hambrabi, and Amerisai. Chapter 56 of Super Robot Wars F Final, The Fruits of Ambition, has players battling Titan's forces in Hong Kong. Victory requires annihilating all enemies, and defeat comes with battleship destruction. Londo Bell faces Jamatov and the Titans after Haburo. The recommended strategy focuses on using the forest area as a defensive base against waves of enemies, including Yazan's Hambrabi squad, followed by reinforcements led by Bishat. Note that Bishat's forces retreat if his flagship, Geargaring, drops below 75% HP. This chapter has 2 crucial event triggers. Defeating 4 Murasame with Camille, if she wasn't rescued earlier, triggers a special event. Also, the timing of Basque's Dogoskir's destruction impacts a later event, though. The guide includes enemy unit details. Be warned, the following scenario limits the availability of key pilots, like Amuro and Quattro, so reassignment of pilots is recommended. This page covers Chapter 57, titled, Elegy for the Anomalous One, In Super Robot Wars F Final, the scenario sees Drake maneuvering for power, while Shot plots his assassination. The primary objective is to destroy all enemies. The guide suggests splitting your forces to tackle different enemy groups and incoming reinforcements. Warning about reinforcement zones A, B, and C. It highlights events like Shinji potentially deploying on his own, and a complex trigger for Drake's assassination based on the status of pilots like Musi and the Black Knight. Defeating Drake yourself is advised for valuable experience and cash. The page provides details on enemy units and deployment timings for both allied reinforcements, including previously unavailable pilots like Amuro and Quattro, and enemy waves. Finally, it prepares players for the next scenario, explaining the pilot assignment requirements for unpiloted units being removed and outlining the pilot availability for the upcoming space and ground route split. This page covers Chapter 58 of Super Robot Wars F Final, titled Beasts of the Sky and Earth. This chapter represents the start of one of the route splits decided previously. The story sees the main characters choosing to fight alongside the Earth Federation to protect a launch facility. The victory condition is either defending the launch facility until the 7th turn, or destroying all enemies. The defeat conditions include enemies invading the facility, or Niru or Argama being destroyed. Strategic advice is provided, noting that the main threat is the Hypergaliba. Players are advised to prepare powerful units to quickly deal with it when it hypergalizes. The launch occurs on turn 7, suggesting a relatively short scenario focused on holding the line. Special events are detailed, including a cattle self-destruct event, triggered if no allied units are in a specific red area on the map when enemies invade it during the turn 6 enemy phase, and an event involving the Duker officers if their HP drops below 70%, leading to their retreat. A table lists the initial enemy placement and reinforcements, including their levels, HP, armor, and items, along with initial allied NPC units. Reinforcements arrive in waves at turns 2, 4, 6, and 8, marked on the map A, B, C, D. Finally, the page gives advice for preparing for the next scenario, emphasizing equipping powerful enhancement parts to your current team, as previously equipped parts were unequipped due to the route split. This page features a special report on the announcement of Pia Carrot Yukoso 2 coming to the SEGA Saturn. The big news highlighted is the decision to port the game, and the intriguing location of the production presentation. Anna Miller's! The page confirms that the game is a simulation adventure developed by NEC Interchannel. It's scheduled for an autumn release, will come on 2 Credroms, and is recommended for players 18 and older. The report notes that the previous game, released in December of the prior year, garnered passionate support thanks to its high graphic quality and well-developed scenario, building anticipation for this sequel. Visually, the page features vibrant anime artwork of the game's characters. Prominent among them are young women in various outfits including waitress uniforms, fitting the restaurant theme. Images from the production presentation show what appears to be the event held at an actual Anna Miller's location in Tokyo, which was dressed up to resemble the Pia Carrot restaurant from the game. Screenshots of the game are displayed on monitors, and the background shows the restaurant interior with cakes and displays, emphasizing the unique tie-in with the real-world establishment. The article strongly suggests that this title is worth checking out, even for those new to the series. This page provides more details about the upcoming SEGA Saturn port of Pia Carrot Yukoso 2, a heartfelt simulation adventure about finding love during a summer part-time job at a family restaurant. The production of the Saturn version is fully supported by F&C, Cocktailsoft, the original PC developers, ensuring the port maintains its authentic flavor. This Saturn release is set to include several new features. Players can enjoy a super high-resolution CG collection on the second disc, offering visuals at an even higher fidelity than the main game. The opening movie has also been renewed for this version. A major addition is a brand new heroine unique to the Saturn release, designed to be a central character with charm equal to the existing cast. A convenient dialogue readback function is also included, allowing players to review past conversations. Screenshots on the page show gameplay elements like character status parameters and dialogue sequences. F&SCAT is also releasing related merchandise, including jigsaw puzzles featuring the game's characters. The game itself will feature full voice acting with the original PC voice cast, except for the protagonist. This page delves further into the world of Pia Carrot Yukoso 2, introducing the chaotic prologue sequence involving the new heroine, Azusa Hinomori. The story kicks off with the protagonist rushing to a job interview at Pia Carrot with his friend Shinji, as shown in a screenshot where Shinji suggests a race. This rush leads to a collision with Azusa in front of the station, resulting in an argument and a terrible first impression. Despite this initial disastrous encounter, fate intervenes. Another screenshot shows the manager, Ryoko, conducting the job interview. And to the protagonist's shock, the other applicant is none other than Azusa, as revealed by her surprised reaction in another scene. The page highlights Azusa Hinomori, questioning which of her expressions is the real one, the one she shows everyone, or the one she shows the protagonist. Described as bright and cheerful when smiling, she also has a stubborn side, suggesting that getting along with her will be a challenge. Her personal data, including her age of 18 and measurements, is provided. The page sets up the central conflict of the story, revolving around the protagonist navigating a part-time job where he must work alongside a girl he initially fought with, whose true personality remains a mystery. This page continues the exploration of the world of Pia Carrot e Yukoso. 2. Introducing more key characters who interact with the protagonist. We first meet Hinomori Mina, described as being like a friendly puppy, and the younger sister of Azusa, the heroine from the previous page. She's featured in a lively beach scene, appearing surprised by a crab. The page also introduces Minace Koe, characterized as a bright and cheerful older sister figure, shown in a scene with arcade machines, highlighting her energetic personality and role as a mood maker. Finally, we see Futaba Ryuko, the steady manager of Pia Carrot, who was mentioned on the previous page. She's depicted in a more serious, office setting, reinforcing her responsible nature. Personal data for each character is included, offering a glimpse into their backgrounds. These characters clearly play significant roles in the protagonist's new life at Pia Carrot. This page continues our look at the characters of Pia Carrot e Yukoso. 2. Introducing 3 more ladies you'll encounter. First up is Inishi Sanai, highlighted for her warm and enveloping charm. She's a quiet and reserved girl who handles the dishwashing at Pia Carrot, but possesses a big heart and kindness, sometimes even apologizing to the manager alongside the protagonist for their mistakes. Her personal data is listed. Next, we meet Yamanaka Harue, described as a gentle and soft-spoken young wife with a peaceful atmosphere. She's shown in a scene with her child, suggesting a domestic role. The text hints that she is sensitive to the protagonist's actions and will grow fond of you if you win her over. Her personal data is also provided. Finally, there's Enomoto Tsukasa, the ever-cheerful and energetic girl. She works as a helper at Pia Carrot, bursting with vitality. Despite her boundless energy, she's very skillful with her hands and makes her own clothes. The text mentions her love for cute things, including dog costumes. Her personal data completes her introduction. The page effectively presents these key figures and hints at their personalities and potential interactions within the game's story. This page continues the character introductions for the SEGA Saturn title, Pia Carrot e Yukoso. 2. We meet Mikiko Shinohara, a passionate but struggling self-proclaimed manga artist who's portrayed in a cafe scene. Her profile highlights her determination despite facing creative hurdles. We also see Jun Kagurazaka, a part-time co-worker at Pia Carrot. Illustrated in a stockroom setting, he's noted for being a dependable colleague, surprisingly adept at physical tasks despite a slender build. A significant feature discussed is the uniform select system, allowing players to choose one of 3 styles for the main female characters: idol, maid, or school type. These distinct looks, showcased with individual character illustrations, will persist throughout the game's event scenes, adding a layer of personalization. Finally, a queue in a section with the Saturn version's development chief touches on player concerns. It addresses how potentially provocative content from the original source will be handled, indicating adjustments will be made within the bounds of expression. It also mentions that while the scenarios for new characters are still developing, the overall story volume is planned to be quite substantial, building anticipation for the game's release. This page features a special report on Madu Monogatari for the SEGA Saturn, heralded as the origin of the Puyo Puyo world. The vibrant artwork showcases fan-favorite characters like Arlnaja, Carbuncle, Schizo Wegi, Rulyu, Satan, and other familiar faces from the series. The accompanying text is an announcement for fans eagerly awaiting news, finally introducing the Saturn version of the game. It highlights that this introduction focuses on the prologue, which forms the core of the story and promises more detailed information in future issues. Presented as a special report, the game is currently stated to be 70% complete. Key details are provided, confirming it is an RPG developed by Compile, planned for a summer release at a price of 5,800 yen. It is a single-player experience recommended for all ages. This marks an exciting return to the roots of the beloved puzzle game franchise in its original RPG format. This page introduces the concept and gameplay style of the Saturn version of Madou Monogatari, which is an RPG aiming for a basic style that anyone can enjoy. Unlike previous 3D dungeon versions, this game features a field map system, described as a renewal of the series. The development is proceeding with the goal of being easily enjoyable for everyone, regardless of age or gender, and is expected for a summer release. The prologue section hints at the story's beginning, set in a peaceful world where people and monsters coexist, united by Maduryoku, magic power. It focuses on Arle Naja, a cheerful 16-year-old aspiring magic user. A simple errand to buy ingredients for Carbuncle's curry rice sets in motion a vast adventure that will involve everyone in the Madou world. Gameplay screenshots showcase the shift to a field map for exploration and side-view battles. When encountering enemies in the field, the perspective switches to a dynamic, action game-like side-view battle scene. The monsters appearing include familiar faces from the Puyo Puyo and Waku Waku dungeon series, along with new designs. A character spotlight features Ragnus Bishasi, a brave young man who is cursed to appear as a child. First appearing in Puyo Puyo Sun, he is noted as a key character who becomes important later in this story. A bubble references his past interactions with Schizo in Puyo Puyo Sun, humorously questioning if things will be different this time. This page dives deeper into the upcoming Madou Monogatari RPG on the SEGA Saturn. It teases a story that unfolds across the familiar world of the Puyo Puyo series, mentioning iconic entries like Puyo Puyo 2 and Puyo Puyo Sun. The article states that most characters from the series will appear, and several will join the protagonist's party. While Rulyu and Schizo are confirmed, it speculates that characters like Witch and Draco might also become companions, which would be quite exciting. The spotlight is on Arle Naja, the series' main character. She's portrayed as the energetic and cheerful aspiring magic user everyone knows, currently a novice, but destined for greatness. Her journey this time involves rescuing a friend, quote, promising significant growth through various encounters and partings, with her loyal companion Carbuncle by her side. Gameplay details focus on dungeon exploration, the main stage of the adventure. After gathering information in towns, dungeons are described as complex and filled with tough monsters, making them challenging to clear. The article highlights the suspense of hidden areas beyond closed doors and showcases the variety of dungeon environments, from rocky caves to fantastical crystal labyrinths and ancient ruins, each visually distinct. A quirky merchant character named Pakisuta, who speaks odd Japanese and resembles a daikon radish, is also introduced. This page delves into the combat system and character abilities in this Madou Monogatari RPG. Battles involve RPL and up to 2 party members facing off against groups of enemies, described as lively and fast-paced, thanks to the use of charming chibi characters. The article highlights the diverse range of enemy types and their unique attack patterns. A major focus is placed on the special moves and magic available to the main characters, drawing on their established skills from the series. Arle demonstrates powerful area effect magic like lightning, fire, and ice storm. The martial artist Rulyu unleashes devastating physical attacks, including a beam that the reviewer humorously compares to Dragon Ball's Kamehameha. Schizo Wegi, while primarily a swordsman, is shown using a rapid, multi-hit technique, emphasizing his mastery of blade arts, with a magic circle accompanying his attack. Monsters also exhibit distinct behaviors and attacks, adding variety to the encounters. Even familiar faces from the Puyo Puyo puzzle games appear, with their own unique actions in battle. Carbuncle, Arle's loyal companion, is singled out, described as a mysterious creature who often dances but possesses surprisingly strong offensive power when motivated, especially if curry rice is involved. The page concludes by showing off the victory screen, where characters strike poses that reflect their individual personalities after a successful battle. This page presents a special report on the SEGA Saturn game Revolutionary Girl Utena. The game was released by SEGA on May 28 for 6,800 yen across 2 discs. It is an adventure game for one player recommended for all ages. The article notes the game features elaborate character animation, highlighting the involvement of many original anime staff members. The focus shifts to the anime segments within the game, featuring an interview with anime part director Hiroaki Sakurai and SEGA director Yamaji. Sakurai explains his role in storyboarding the opening movie and directing the overall presentation of the game's cinematic scenes. They discuss how different parts of the game's animation were handled, including in-game movies and duel scenes by Takahashi, and the main scenario direction and Chuchu's appearances by Kaneko. Sakurai mentions the challenge of deciding what to show in the opening, aiming to give a sense of scenes not fully explored in the main story, and letting players feel elements both within and beyond the narrative frame. Yamaji adds that the opening was designed to match the game's overall atmosphere. They also touch upon the music composition handled by Hikaru, and amusingly note Chuchu's surprisingly frequent appearances in the game compared to the anime. The page includes screenshots from the game's anime sequences, showcasing the characters and the distinct visual style. This page continues the special feature on the SEGA Saturn game Revolutionary Girl Utena, focusing on the animation production and staff involvement. SEGA director Kazunori Yamaji is introduced, discussing the game's development. The article emphasizes the significant participation of core anime staff from B-Papa's, the original production team, in creating the game's animation, including character designers and animation directors. A notable point of discussion is the animated opening movie, particularly a scene featuring Akikyo. The staff recount that Akio's surprising lack of clothing in the sequence went beyond the original storyboard instructions, leading to some amusement and surprise among the team and test viewers. This highlights the passion and creative input of the animators, capturing the unique tone of the series. The interview segments convey that the B-Papa's staff worked intensely on the game's animation, ensuring high quality. They express confidence that the game successfully reproduces the distinctive atmosphere and visual style of the Revolutionary Girl Utena TV series. Screenshots on the page showcase the game's animated sequences, featuring characters like Utena, Anthy, and Akio, demonstrating the detailed character designs and fluid animation that fans of the anime will recognize and appreciate. The overall impression is that the game is a dedicated effort to bring the essence of the beloved TV show to the SEGA Saturn. The next page delves into the gameplay schedule of the Revolutionary Girl Utena game on the SEGA Saturn, specifically focusing on the events of June 23rd and 24th from evening through night. The protagonist, having transferred on the 22nd, falls into a routine where key choices significantly impact their heart's nobility stat. The evening centers around a dinner event. Returning to the dormitory, you find an unusually large meal prepared. This sets up the choice to invite one person from the student council, or Chigusa Mikage, to join you. The article highlights that during this dinner, the conversation inevitably turns to the topic of duels, creating some intriguing and potentially unusual situations not seen in the anime. Screenshots show characters like Tuga Kiryu and Kyoichi Saionji at the dining table. Following dinner, there's a late-night segment. If the protagonist can't sleep, they can choose to go outside for a walk. This walk is described as a crucial event, where, depending on who you might have chosen earlier or potentially other factors, you can encounter various characters like Utena, Tuga, Saionji, or Chigusa by chance. These late-night encounters seem to be significant, with one snippet mentioning Saionji being out due to his exchange diary with Anthy Himemiya. The page emphasizes that these choices and encounters are important for progressing in the game and building relationships. This page analyzes gameplay from the Revolutionary Girl Utena game, focusing on evening/night cycles and character paths. Choosing Juri leads to a dramatic encounter mirroring her duel. Selecting Chigusa results in a strange night scene connected to Tuga, raising questions about their relationship. Miki's encounter, despite his positive feelings for Utena, unexpectedly mirrors Saionji's situation. To get closer to Utena, build relationships with others, as her heart's nobility is key. The night involves basketball. The page concludes with a reader survey highlighting the article's popularity, a call for fan submissions, and an announcement for a SEGA Saturn guidebook featuring endings, interviews, and unreleased content. The next page features a special report on the survival horror title, Deep Fear. The layout prominently displays the game's title in large, distressed lettering, alongside a character portrait of the protagonist, John Defoe, and a dramatic screenshot depicting him amidst fiery destruction on an underwater base. The overarching theme, highlighted by the Japanese text, is a terrifying SF horror suspense set in the dark world of the deep sea, where terror has no escape. The special report details the game's setting on a deep-sea base and emphasizes dynamic event scenes that showcase the intense struggle between mysterious life forms and humanity. The game is published by SEGA, is a deep-sea horror suspense title, and is designed for single-player gameplay. Notable staff credited include Yasushi Nirasawa for creature design and Kenji Kawai for music produce. The page includes copyright information for Sega Enterprises, Limited and Kenji Kawai, both dated 1998. This page continues the special report on the intense survival horror title, Deep Fear. The focus here shifts to the critical doctor rescue mission. Following a sudden incident involving a U.S. Navy nuclear submarine collision at the Mariana Trench, the mobile Navy facility, Navy area, was damaged, leaving a scientist trapped. This scientist is identified as Dr. Garino Weisberg of MIC, whose ionoid card is shown. Clancy Dawkins, commander of the underwater supply base known as Big Table, judged rescuing the doctor to be the top priority and requested emergency rescue operations from John Defoe, a civilian rescuer from Negers. The page shows screenshots depicting these events. John finding an injured person, the doctor, lying on the floor, a portrait of Dr. Weisberg, a close-up suggesting communication attempts. "Oh, can you hear me?" And the base itself preparing for docking. There is a surprised exclamation, "Stella?" which could indicate a connection to the doctor or another character. The narrative explains that the Navy area, which had been operating independently, suffered significant damage from the submarine collision and is now being moved by John's partner, Mookie, to dock with the Big Table base. These visuals and text highlight key narrative points and dramatic scenes from the game's rescue operation. This page continues the intense Deep Fear report, plunging the Big Table base into crisis. Following the previous page's events, a torpedo is launched and hits the base's life support system, the air unit. The screenshot shows a bloodied hand pressing a torpedo launch switch on a submarine bridge, raising the question of who is attacking and why. This attack stops oxygen supply to the entire base, creating a severe threat to the crew's survival. The page introduces two key characters. First is Danny Reynolds, the tough as-nails site manager for Big Table's docking area. Despite his rough exterior, he's deeply human and highly trusted by his subordinates. A screenshot shows him looking concerned, perhaps reacting to the unfolding disaster. The second character is Dubois Amalik, the brilliant architect who designed the Big Table base. A graduate of MIT and former computer technician, his design is described as flawless, and the success of the massive underwater base project is credited entirely to him. His portrait shows him in a purple turtleneck and glasses, exuding a sense of intellect. The overall tone is one of escalating danger. The initial rescue mission has now turned into a fight for survival, as the base itself is under attack, cutting off vital resources. The warning screen displaying air unit lock and warning clearly indicates the critical situation the crew faces. This page reveals the next terrifying phase of the crisis in Deep Fear. Nuclear missile launch preparation is underway. With the base already in peril, the crew faces a new, even graver threat as a rogue submarine begins readying a nuclear strike. The only hope to avert disaster is to infiltrate the vessel and disable the launch directly. The page introduces Colonel Clancy Dawkins, the Commander-in-Chief of Big Table, a U.S. Navy veteran with a history involving nuclear submarines, and a return to duty after a past scandal. Under his command, the mission to stop the launch is initiated. Screenshots show the dire situation, including a monitor displaying Poseidon missile set ready, confirming the immediate danger. The protagonist, John, is shown inside the submarine, realizing the unusual activity points towards a terrorist act, emphasizing the urgency. The team must use a small submersible, the Little Shark, to reach the target submarine, identified as the Sea Fox, which lies on the seabed with its missile silos deployed. The Little Shark's searchlight cuts through the darkness, highlighting the massive sub. The page concludes with the Little Shark descending onto the Sea Fox's hatch, marking the critical point of infiltration. The situation is dire, and there's no time to waste. This page follows John's infiltration of the Sea Fox submarine in Deep Fear. Immediately upon entering, he's met with intense heat, discovering the vessel is consumed by fire, likely triggered by the earlier impact or a shock to the electrical system. The flames are so widespread that simply getting close is difficult, forcing John to attempt to extinguish them using available equipment. After successfully fighting back the fire, a grim scene is revealed. Numerous burnt bodies litter the narrow corridors. These are the remains of the crew members who were trapped inside with no escape. As John continues his search through the tragic aftermath, he senses a presence behind him. What appears as a horrifying, grotesque creature, unlike anything he's ever seen, emerging from the shadows and pursuing him relentlessly. This page documents John's struggle against the blaze and his terrifying first encounter with the game's mutated threats. This page details a dire turn of events for the submersible Sea Fox in deep fear. Having just averted a potential nuclear catastrophe, the vessel suddenly loses stability and begins a terrifying descent into the Mariana Trench. The impact is so severe that the docked little shark is ripped away. Screenshots depict the chaos inside the tilting ship, with John regaining consciousness from the shock, seeing the world upside down, and receiving urgent communications from Mookie warning of the impending plunge into the abyss. The situation is critical, as the massive sub is being swallowed by the deep trench. The page also announces the decision to release the Deep Fear soundtrack CD. It highlights how the game leverages sound and music to enhance the horror experience. With the score composed by the renowned Kenji Kawai, listening to the CD is presented as a way to fully immerse oneself in the game's deep-sea terror. A photo shows Kenji Kawai, alongside Rieko Kodama, the developer, in the recording studio, emphasizing the collaboration on the game's crucial audio elements. This page reveals details about Wakenroader, a tactical simulation RPG for the SEGA Saturn. The focus here is on the game's distinctive weapon system, which goes beyond its unique world setting. It explains the system is built on steam power, utilized to enhance attack capabilities. This steam system is known as Sledge, SRG, and by using it, players can freely adjust their weapon's attack power and manage energy based on the combat situation. The page features character artwork, including a detailed illustration of the protagonist, Lucian, and his equipment, along with a design sketch showing the control system worn on the back. There's also artwork of the heroine, Carol. Screenshots illustrate various character techniques in 3D polygon combat, such as Lucian's Veton's Sturm and Dynamite Axe Stream, described as powerful special moves that boost attack power, and Carol's Caneback Fish, a close-quarters technique. The game is scheduled for release in summer 1998, priced at 5,800 yen for one player, and recommended for all ages. This page delves deeper into the unique sledge combat system in Wakenroader. It explains that unlike traditional RPGs or tactical SLGs, players must constantly manage their sledge system by adjusting attack power, which directly impacts heat generation. The key meters are the accelerator meter, which controls steam output and thus attack power and heat, and the thermometer, which tracks accumulated heat. Boosting the accelerator increases attack power but also generates significant heat. Conversely, reducing the accelerator lowers attack power but keeps heat generation low. As heat builds up, reaching a certain point causes the sledge system to overheat. When overheated, high-power attacks and special techniques are disabled, leaving only weaker standard attacks available. This creates a tactical layer where players must balance maximizing damage with managing heat to avoid being left vulnerable. Heat can be reduced by cooling down. Crucially, any remaining action points, AP, left after performing an action can be used to cool the system, encouraging thoughtful AP management. The page also highlights that items can be used to enhance the sledge system, such as boosting attack power or aiding in cooling. Players can equip up to 3 items, each designated for a specific body part, adding another strategic element to character customization. Screenshots show the battle interface with the meters, character stats, and examples of high and low power attacks, and the shop screen for buying items. This system demands careful planning and adaptation based on the flow of battle. Shadows of the Tusk features a complex narrative explored through character relationships, visualized in a detailed diagram. The core story revolves around Sir Richard Rosewall's victory over the evil dragon Margok and a subsequent curse. Margok is prophesied to revive when a Rosewall daughter turns 18. Centuries later, this event triggers the emergence of Tasker, setting the stage for the game. The page also highlights Rarity-esque characters, easily obtainable units within the game's 40 character types. Carcass, Pamela, and Cyclops are showcased, along with their stats and special abilities. The special report emphasizes the strategic value of even these common characters. Story Mode Map 5 in the Lava Zone features Richard's party battling the Rumble unit. Having entered the demon world, they choose a direct confrontation to save time. The volcanic environment and battle scenes are shown. New characters appear after defeating the Rumbles, including Harry Webb, a time-traveling agent from the 23rd century with unique abilities. Other characters like Krishy, Karloff, and Infantroid are profiled, each with distinct stats and special abilities. The page highlights original character cards by Matsushita Susumu, which are distinct from Rarity characters. These cards offer tactical information and are particularly useful for understanding character abilities and strategy during online matches. Examples include Kendra, Wizard Zadok, Sulung, and Garuvatas, with profiles and tactical information on the back of the cards. This page showcases the game Linda Cube Complete, a unique psycho-thriller and hunting RPG. The striking artwork features the protagonist looking out from a futuristic doorway onto the world of Neo Kenya, described by the large text on the left as, "The lush planet Neo Kenya, that is, our homeland." Cryptic English phrases like, "start again," and, "I heard her call my name," are subtly placed within the illustration. The page includes a special report featuring commentary from the game's designer, cannabis, and music composer, Ryoko Kihara, offering deeper insights into the game's setting, history, and world, essential knowledge for players. Published by ASC2, the complete edition includes both the game disc and a full soundtrack CD. This page features an in-depth discussion between Shuzu Ida, the game designer of Linda Cubed, and Ryoko Kihara, the composer of its background music. They delve into their collaborative process and the creation of the game's memorable soundtrack. The interview highlights the surprising popularity of the BGM, so much so that players sought out the PC Engine version just for the music, as the initial PlayStation release lacked a soundtrack CD. The complete edition specifically includes the full soundtrack, a significant feature discussed on the page. Ida explains how he was inspired to ask Kihara to compose after hearing her song Ballad for Children, which perfectly captured the unique feel he envisioned for Linda Cubed. Kihara shares the challenges and excitement of creating music for themes like battle or beast, genres she hadn't previously explored, and how the project pushed her creative boundaries. They describe their close collaboration during development, constantly exchanging ideas to match the game's mood and scenes. Both found the experience rewarding, allowing them to create music that felt fresh and unexpected. The page also showcases the sound mode feature available in the game, which lets players enjoy the BGM directly. The track list for the included soundtrack CD is shown, featuring 24 pieces from the game. Additionally, there's a notice for a CD giveaway promotion. This text introduces the player to Neo Kenya, the setting of Linda Cubed. This planet blends lush nature with advanced technology, and is home to mutated creatures and the human-like beastchans, native inhabitants who predate human arrival. Neo Kenya is divided into distinct east, west, and south regions, connected by underground tunnels. Humans came to Neo Kenya 91 years ago, drawn to the beastchans' resilience. The planet holds mysteries, including over-technology ruins that suggest a more advanced past. The Ranger Team, Neo Kenya's local organization, struggles to protect animals from poachers and humans from dangerous creatures. The page serves as an introduction, showcasing the planet's diverse environments, inhabitants, and the game's battle interface. This page dives into the specifics of the world of Linda Cubed, focusing on the practicalities of life and survival in Neo Kenya. It details the various towns and the businesses within them, highlighting how much of the economy revolves around the planet's unique animal life. Shops process captured animals into equipment and food, offer hunting assistance, and serve as markets for buying and selling creatures. The page also introduces essential gameplay elements, like utilizing hunting dogs as companions, who can be treated, trained, and even participate in combat. The Neo Kenya Bank is presented as the central hub for finances, where players manage earnings from hunting, and the protagonist Ken's salary as a ranger. Transportation across the world is discussed, featuring the bird line for travel between the dome-protected cities and the shoelace service for exploring areas outside of them. The page also briefly touches upon Ken and Linda's home, their childhood village, adding a personal touch to the narrative setting. Overall, it provides players with crucial information about the game's mechanics, key locations, and the systems they'll interact with as they navigate Neo Kenya. This page features Langrisser v. The End of Legend, The main visual is a dynamic illustration of several characters, including the protagonist Sigma and other key figures. The article highlights that the game is now entering its full-scale narrative, strongly synchronizing with events and elements from the previous game, Langrisser IV. Players familiar with IV will find many connecting points, suggesting this installment ties directly into the larger series lore, potentially leading towards a true ending for the saga. The page details a couple of early scenarios. Scenario 04, titled Breakthrough, involves Sigma's group confronting the Kakansis army and targeting Wheeler, the commander. The scene describes Gold Mulcahy being defeated and subsequently vanishing after the battle. Scenario 05, set in a village, sees Sigma encountering Izern and the Kakansis forces once more. Izern is presented as a formidable opponent, and the situation is tense until Brenda arrives with her female mercenary unit to provide timely assistance. The screenshots display the classic Langrisser tactical battles, with unit sprites, character portraits during combat, and the strategic map view, giving a clear look at the gameplay. The sidebar notes indicate this is a special report with 95% completion. The game is developed by Messiah, released on June 18th for 6,300 yen, and is classified as a simulation RPG. Langrisser 5. The end of legend continues the story, with Brenda, under Village's influence, joining Gizarov's forces as a mercenary for Gizarov, though her motives are unclear. Sigma's team is tasked with retrieving the Sage's crystal from Ivar. Gizarov is introduced as a key antagonist. A subplot emerges with Alfred, suspected of patricide and on the run after his father's death. A mystery section reviews the Sage's crystal, connecting it to Langrisser IV, its origins with Landius's village, and its ties to ancient lore. Finally, Kruger, a character from Langrisser IV, is revealed as a creation of Gizarov, furthering the connection between V and IV, along with Gizarov's experiments. The page is illustrated with screenshots of the game's tactical battles and character interactions. This page introduces the game Another Memories, developed by Starlight Mary, known for Ian no Hizashi. Released on July 2nd for 5,800 yen, this is an adventure game incorporating training and romance simulation elements, recommended for all ages and single-player. Set in a fantasy world, the game follows the 2-year school life and romantic endeavors of Ginas Lukrelade, a new student at the prestigious Lufel Magic Academy. Players will guide Ginas as he studies, plays, and interacts with the girls of his age. The page previews 2 of the 7 potential heroines. Charlotte McAway, a kind, holy magic specialist with poor self-expression, and Marcia Milligan, a clumsy magic genius who helps out at a local magic shop and dislikes being treated like a child. A small screenshot showcases an event scene. A significant feature highlighted is the unique pastel art style used for characters and event scenes, setting it apart from typical anime coloring. Further details about the game's system will be covered on upcoming pages. This page continues introducing the world and characters of Another Memories. We see more key figures attending Lufel Magic Academy alongside the protagonist, Ginas. Featured characters include Ephy McLean, an optimistic but sometimes jealous holy magic user, Ariandine Shetlancer, a noble spirit magic specialist who dislikes being judged by status, Taika Nedrin, a hot-blooded stubborn fire magic user who craves attention, and Olivia Evans, an ordinary girl specializing in general magic who feels out of place at the academy. The page also introduces Shirley Templeton, a calm and hard-working spirit magic user, Duran Arpseed, a competitive magic sword specialist sensitive to discrimination, and Mick Stewart, a self-centered, troublesome student who founded the Magic Society. The story setting, Lufel Magic Academy, is described as a comprehensive school teaching magic and training demon hunters, a profession born from humanity's fear of demons. The protagonist, Ginas, was inspired to become a hunter after being saved by one, and diligently entered this difficult-to-enter academy. Small character portraits and a screenshot of the academy building illustrate the setting. It's noted that the images are primarily cuts from the game's opening movie, and that the PlayStation version has a different opening sequence. This page delves into the varied gameplay systems of Another Memories, highlighting how it blends adventure, simulation, and battle elements. The game structures progression around alternating weekdays and holidays. Weekdays are primarily for story events and attending school at Lufel Magic Academy, while holidays are dedicated to developing protagonist Gina's through training and other activities. During holidays, players can raise Gina's parameters like abilities and money. The basic holiday screen is Gina's room, offering commands like self-training, going out, part-time work, and rest. Going out involves visiting locations on a map, potentially triggering events, finding part-time jobs, or buying items. Part-time work is a way to earn money and potentially boost skills, though tougher jobs can increase fatigue. Resting is crucial to lower fatigue, which otherwise negatively impacts training efficiency. Self-training allows players to focus on raising one of 4 core abilities: magic sword, general magic, holy magic, or spirit magic. The chosen focus influences how the story unfolds and directly affects general magic's strength in battles. There are also screenshots illustrating the different types of magic training, and the status screen showing Gina's current abilities and fatigue. The page also introduces Vesta Baldwin, described as Gina's childhood friend from before the academy, who will also attend Lukefell Magic Academy, focusing on the same subjects. He is characterized as an easygoing delinquent who just barely passed the entrance exam. This page continues the exploration of another memories systems, building upon the base mechanics introduced previously. It highlights the critical self parameter, which decreases when making significant choices, particularly those involving female characters. Maintaining a sufficient self-value is necessary to unlock important options, suggesting that pursuing multiple relationships simultaneously can be challenging. Weekdays are explained as proceeding automatically, primarily triggering event scenes centered around the Magic Academy. The frequency of these events is noted as quite high. Large events and exams are detailed as interactive exploration sequences. Players click on areas of the screen to investigate, find key items, and advance, often accompanied by a partner character. The partner selection is variable, adding replayability. The page also describes the card battle system. Battles involve using dealt cards to form specific combinations or roles to inflict damage on enemies. Spell cards add special effects to these actions, and overall attack power is influenced by character abilities, reinforcing the importance of development discussed earlier. Character profiles introduce Claire Evans, Charlotte's friend who is energetic but hasty, and Stanley Cadillac, the arrogant first prince who uses spirit magic and is trying to approach Ariadne. Screenshots illustrate the self-parameter bar, a weekday event scene, the click-based exploration interface, and examples of the card battle screen with character and enemy HP displays. This page shifts focus entirely to the unique 3D RPG from Sting, Baroque. Prominently featured is an illustration of the main character, wielding his distinctive massive weapon against a dark background. The title Baroque dominates the layout, emphasizing the game's central theme, true freedom. Released on May 21st for 6,800 yen, Baroque is a single-player experience, recommended for all ages. It plunges the player into the role of an amnesiac protagonist, who retains only the consciousness of sin. Waking in a warped world, they are guided by a high-ranking angel towards a sacred tower for penitence. The character possesses a special ability to purify the strange beings encountered, raising the question of whether they themselves can ever find healing. The page captures the dark, mysterious atmosphere characteristic of the game. This page delves deeper into the unique aspects of the RPG Baroque introduced previously, focusing on what its concept of everything is freedom truly means. It contrasts the game's approach with the typical linear flow of RPGs, highlighting how Baroque aims to break the mold and overturn established norms by granting the player a high degree of freedom in their actions and playtime. The page then breaks down the game's core philosophy into 5 key concepts to help readers understand Baroque. These are multiple plot, which signifies a story that evolves with each playthrough rather than simple branching paths, with death leading to continuation, not a game over. Freedom, emphasizing the absence of forced events and complete player agency determining playstyle and duration. Space, referring to the game's exploration of 3D environments from a first-person perspective, designed with attention to detail and structures and lighting for immersion. Change, describing how elements like item locations, enemy types, and tower structure shift based on playstyle, ensuring a fresh experience. And strategy, explaining that the ever-changing nature prevents reliance on a single page, is visually supported by the striking Baroque creature illustration and a small screenshot showcasing the in-game first-person perspective, and UI elements like HP and vitality, reinforcing the unique atmosphere described. The Baroque world is ravaged by Baroque-type crimes and aberrants, grotesque monsters hunted by a government unit. The Great Wave catastrophe has left the world decayed. Players must navigate the ever-shifting Neuro Tower, a labyrinthine structure with an unknown number of floors and unpredictable traps. Combat focuses on battling aberrants within the tower, where enemy numbers change dynamically. Exploration involves meeting strange characters whose interactions impact the narrative. The Neuro Tower, the primary setting, is central to the mystery, constantly shifting and rumored to be the source of the world's deformities. Its purpose is unknown, but people, including those with prosthetic wings, are drawn to it. The protagonist must explore the tower's depths to uncover its secrets, utilizing a unique 3D engine for seamless movement and detailed environments. This page delves deeper into the world and mechanics of Baroque, following the discussion from the previous page about the Neuro Tower. The title, "The Great Heat Wave That Destroys, and Then the World Changed Its Appearance," reinforces the impact of the catastrophe. It explains the importance of the outer world, the area outside the Neuro Tower where players start after the Great Wave or upon death. This area serves as a hub to meet survivors, gather valuable information, and sometimes receive items. However, it warns that abnormal forms can also appear there. A key mechanic highlighted is how content changes with repeated playthroughs. Unlike a simple retry, dying in the Neuro Tower and returning to the outer world carries the influence of the previous attempt. This causes shifts in the reactions of non-player characters and the structure of the Neuro Tower itself. The page emphasizes that the exact same sequence of events will never happen twice, making each run feel fresh and gradually revealing fragments of the story. Screenshots illustrate the visual differences encountered on the first and second playthroughs. Finally, the page introduces the character Alice. Despite appearing bright in her illustration, she is said to sometimes show signs of burden. She discusses the protagonist's past, but only remembers fragments herself, and describes feeling painful. Her relationship with the protagonist and her interactions within the world are noted as points of interest. This guide introduces newcomers to the Baroque world. Players are advised to watch demo movies before exploring the game and to adjust settings beforehand. The core gameplay revolves around investigating abnormalities, grotesque creatures born before a cataclysm, infesting the Neuro Tower. The guide poses key questions about their purpose and attacks. Illustrations of Des and San showcase their disturbing designs. Basic controls for movement within the tower are covered, emphasizing the game's real-time nature. The HUD displays level, health, and vitality. Players must manage their VT to avoid HP depletion and death. The guide also covers the 2D map, item screen, and combat, advising players to utilize attacks, positioning, and alternative strategies to survive against groups of abnormalities. Baroque's Neuro Tower challenges players to survive encounters with bizarre abnormalities, emphasizing exploration over simple combat. Players must think strategically, employing actions like punching, swinging weapons, throwing bones, using items for healing, dodging, or fleeing. A wide array of items beyond weapons and armor offer status boosts, traps, and utility. Players are encouraged to adapt their equipment based on the situations. Items can have unknown and potentially negative effects, requiring experimentation to understand their function. Unidentified boxes add to the mystery. The text highlights 10 support item types, including traps, mystery boxes, brands, damaging bones, parasitic imps, status effect remedies, area of effect devices, HP recovering meat, VT recovering hearts, and crystal-like idea Sapphira. The page concludes with descriptions of the Hang and Nikura abnormalities, showcasing the diverse enemy designs players will encounter. This page dives deep into the thematic heart of Baroque, framing the player's journey as piecing together a fragmented puzzle of meaning and focusing on the concept of scars. It offers a potential narrative path the protagonist might follow through the Neuro Tower, emphasizing that this is merely one example in a game designed for free exploration. The article suggests players who prefer discovering the world on their own should stick to the summarized key-word section. The text recounts the journey up to the deepest levels, guided by the ambiguous messages of an angel, encountering strange abnormalities and voices. Screenshots peppered throughout show the game's UI, eerie environments, and cryptic dialogue. Lines like, "Do you remember our scars?" and the repeated question, "Where is this?" highlight the protagonist's disorientation and the game's focus on memory and trauma. Conflicting messages about the goal, whether to heal the world, heal yourself, or shoot the angel in the final layer and purify the world, underscore the game's dark, ambiguous narrative. Ultimately, the page paints a picture of a challenging, story-rich experience, where players must confront internal and external wounds to understand the shattered reality around them. To survive in the Neuro Tower of Baroque, players must master core mechanics. Parasites attach to items or the player, providing beneficial effects. Combining compatible parasites enhances their power. Understanding attributes, fire, ice, lightning, etc., is crucial, as enemies and abnormalities have elemental weaknesses. Synthesis allows players to create new items by throwing two items at the Archangel, the order seemingly important. The Archangel also restores item condition. The text also hints at mysterious entities. The Reader of Hearts, an enigmatic old woman, and a two-faced, non-hostile abnormality emitting a gashangashangashan sound on BF 248, which reacts differently to thrown items. Success in Baroque relies on mastering these core concepts and understanding the world's strange inhabitants. This page delves deeper into the world of Baroque, introducing several key characters and concepts. The main title poses a question about the power found by the false angel. We meet the man in the box on BF 5, who clutches a box believing his daughter is inside and pleads with anyone who passes by for help. On floors 6 through 12, you encounter Alice, a mysterious young girl floating in a large room with a pool and a green sphere. She speaks to the player as if she knows their past, before disappearing into the water. Lastly, Creel is shown chained, referred to as a comrade, and seems to be seeking purification. Two vital keyword sections are highlighted. The throw emphasizes this fundamental action in the game, noting that throwing items at abnormalities or characters often elicits a reaction, reinforcing the synthesis mechanic mentioned previously. The Malkut cult is introduced as a significant organization within the world. Their purpose is to protect the discovered truth, and their members, such as the Archangel and Observation Angels, hold ranks within the cult rather than having individual names. They are described as having appeared before the Great Heat Wave and show interest in the sensory organs. This page introduces more enigmatic figures and crucial mechanics within the world of Baroque. The main title asks, "Can I have the gun you have?" setting a tone of strange requests. We encounter the Observer on BF 10, a towering, masked figure adorned with black and white birds. Though described as angelic, he lacks the oppressive aura of others encountered. He questions the protagonist about a gun, implying it's linked to the player's sin. A key mechanic highlighted is the sensory orb, or Kankaku Q, found throughout the nerve tower. These orbs, varying in appearance, serve a vital purpose, allowing players to throw items into them to transfer them to the surface. This is essential for bringing items back in subsequent playthroughs, enabling the protagonist's mutated attacks. Throwing items at orbs outside the tower, however, is ineffective. Screenshots illustrate the process of selecting an item, seeing it absorbed, and confirming the transfer. The interaction with Alice, first seen on the previous page, is further explored. She is shown on BF 12, refusing interaction initially, but running away and being pursued. Her central request is for beautiful water. Dialogue suggests a misunderstanding regarding what constitutes beautiful water, emphasizing her unique need. The page reinforces that beautiful water is necessary for her. This guide details the essential items found in the Nerve Tower of Baroque. It provides in-depth descriptions exceeding the in-game menu, crucial for understanding each item's effect, though item acquisition is random. The guide categorizes items into swords, coats, baroques, injections, and boxes. Swords have varying attack power, AP, and effects like dealing elemental damage or multiple hits. Coats offer defense power, DP, and defensive properties. Baroques are unique, sentient items, with diverse, often bizarre effects, potentially beneficial or detrimental. Injections grant temporary boosts or alter status. Boxes contain various items or trigger unpredictable events. Understanding and utilizing these randomly acquired items is vital for survival and progression in Baroque's challenging, ever-changing environment. This page continues the item guide for Baroque, detailing several more categories of bizarre items found within the Nerve Tower. It lists the effects of brandings, seals often applied to gear, bones, consumable or throwable items with varied impacts, punishment tools, devices that inflict status changes or damage on enemies or areas, parasites,
creatures that attach to the player or items for unique effects. Patterns, items that cast spells or alter conditions. Hearts and meat, consumable items that affect stats. And the game's sole firearm, the gun. Firearm. The bulk of the page is a detailed list of these items and their specific, often strange, effects. A supplementary section provides advice, suggesting that players should use consumable items like bones frequently rather than hoarding them, as they are often acquired randomly. It also mentions items can be synthesized by the Archangel.
This page features a highly anticipated release for the SEGA Saturn, Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, scheduled for release on July 23rd at a tentative price of 6,800 yen. This RPG comes on 2 CD-ROMs. The article conveys the excitement surrounding the game, particularly amongst fans, describing it as a masterpiece. It highlights the compelling scenario, which centers around the enigmatic heroine, Lucia. The text emphasizes the significant visual upgrades for this version, noting that characters and visual scenes have been completely redrawn, and additional scenario elements have been included, presenting this as the definitive version of the game. A brief character profile for Lucia introduces her as a beautiful, mysterious girl from the Blue Star, whose purpose is shrouded in secrecy. Her voice actress, Chisa Yokoyama, is also listed.
A progress report indicates the game is 70% complete at the time of this publication. The page features a large illustration of the main characters and smaller portraits showing different expressions of Lucia.
The SEGA Saturn version of Lunar 2, Eternal Blue is nearing completion, promising an enhanced experience compared to the original Mega CD release. While the core story remains the same, significant improvements have been made to sub-scenarios and include approximately 1 hour of new visual scenes. The original voice cast returns, lauded for their passionate performances in response to the upgraded visuals. A promotional giveaway of signed scripts is also mentioned. The game features a character profile for Hiro, voiced by Hikaru Midorikawa, and details his journey. Combat is optimized for speed with enhanced effects, including zoom for magic spells.
The crest system allows for unique magic access.
The game utilizes a symbol encounter system and offers diverse character expressions.
Screenshots showcase the isometric exploration and battle system.
A photograph of the voice cast and staff from a recent recording session is included. This page dives into the impressive animation featured in Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, specifically detailing the early game progression with a focus on the prologue and opening sequences. It's highlighted that the character graphics and anime storyboards are handled by the renowned Tsutomu Nihei, known for the giant robo-ova. The developers emphasize a significant increase in animation effort compared to the Saturn version of Lunar Silver Star Story, boasting roughly 60 minutes of entirely new animated scenes. The prologue is described as taking place in a mysterious, snow-covered world, centering around a girl held within a crystal, in a strange tower. The animation depicts her waking up and venturing out into the snowy landscape, looking up at the stars. Following the prologue, the opening introduces Hiro, a young boy living in the desert, whose passion lies in exploring ruins for treasure. The sequence shows him successfully finding treasure before a giant ship dramatically arrives, and the ship's captain mentions Hiro's grandfather. The page also introduces the character Ruby, voiced by Kumiko Nishihara.
Ruby is a cat-like creature who claims to be a child of the Red Dragon and lives with Hiro's family. Her primary ambition is to become Hiro's wife, showcasing her devoted nature. A large illustration on the page features Hiro, Ruby, and other key characters from the game.
This page delves deeper into the early narrative of Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, starting with the pivotal event at the Blue Tower. After Leo's return, Hiro and Ruby investigate anomalies at the ancient tower, discovering it's filled with intricate mechanisms. Upon reaching the top, they are suddenly teleported to a mysterious location. There, from within a giant crystal, a girl emerges, Lucia. This meeting is highlighted as their destiny intertwining. The page then shifts focus to the journey that begins immediately after, as the trio heads towards the village of Larpa to help Lucia break a curse. This long journey becomes essential for Lucia, as encountering various people helps her learn about human connection and empathy, gradually changing her perspective. 2 notable characters met during this phase are introduced. Ronfa, a seemingly laid-back gambler from Larpa who was once a high priest, and Jean, a skilled fighter who challenges Hiro upon meeting, but becomes a reliable ally. The page showcases character art for Ronfa and Jean, along with photos of their Japanese voice actors, Ryotaro Okiya Yu and Aya Hisakawa, respectively, emphasizing the talent behind these key supporting roles. Screenshots of the Blue Tower's interior are also featured, giving a glimpse into the game's environments. This page introduces Grandia Digital Museum, a special release for Grandia fans. Billed as a digital museum, it compiles setting materials, face patterns, and other assets used in the creation of the original Grandia. It's presented not just as a collection of data to view, but as an interactive experience where you explore a dungeon, find items, and use them to complete the museum exhibits. The page highlights several key areas within the museum. The data room contains production documents and character/monster designs. The screening room lets you view the numerous character face patterns used in the game. The theater section features radio dramas and short mini-dramas. In the library, you can access detailed monster data, including where they appear. There's also a game room offering 8 different mini-games based on the Grandia world, providing a fun break. Finally, the save data room provides save data from important scenes, allowing you to jump right into memorable moments. The reviewer emphasizes that this is a must-buy for fans, offering a blend of viewing, playing, and collecting. It's designed to be a thoroughly enjoyable package that lets you appreciate the depth of Grandia's world and the effort that went into its creation. This release was handled by Especially and came out on May 28th for 3,500 yen. This page dives deeper into how you collect the museum items in Grandia Digital Museum. As the title proclaims, the various setting materials and data pieces are scattered across 4 distinct dungeons within the game. You won't get everything by just looking. You need to explore. The 4 locations where you'll be adventuring are the Azure Oil Field, the Noja Ruins, the military base, and the Tower of Gaius. The page provides a look at each. The Azure Oil Field is described as a challenging, 2-floor area filled with maze-like iron bridges where you can fall, and bosses await at the end of each section. Next up are the Noja Ruins, made up of several smaller, varied floors, including a lava valley at the back, offering a fun mix of environments. The military base has a unique structure, with rooms featuring gimmicks tied to the personalities of the squad leaders. Finally, the Tower of Gaius poses a challenge with its wide corridor and tough monsters right from the start. Although the tower itself isn't overly complex structurally, screenshots show both in-game views of characters navigating these areas and top-down map layouts, giving players a preview of the environments. Character art of Fina and another familiar face from Grandia are also featured. The page concludes by teasing a strategy guide coming in the next issue, indicating the depth of these exploration segments. This page provides the latest information on the adventure game code R, developed by Quintet and released on July 9th for 6,800 yen. The article focuses on the protagonist's relationships, highlighting his best friend, Minoru, who serves as an advisor and helps the protagonist progress by providing essential information and hints, often during his part-time job at a gas station. A significant part of the coverage is dedicated to Miyuki, a girl introduced to the protagonist through Minoru. The article explores the developing relationship between the protagonist and Miyuki, noting that visiting her garage can trigger special events. Miyuki is a mechanic aiming to become a professional, with a passion for cars and bikes, even building her own custom bike. The page explicitly raises the question of whether the relationship between the protagonist, Minoru, and Miyuki will develop into friendship or romance, hinting at a potential love triangle scenario. Player actions will determine the outcome. Screenshots illustrate various scenes, including conversations, character interactions at a gas station and garage, and a dramatic moment suggesting Minoru might also become involved in street racing after purchasing a car. The page effectively previews the character-driven narrative and relationship dynamics central to Code Star. This page delves into the gameplay loop of Code SR, highlighting its unique blend of adventure and racing elements. The core progression involves moving through the town, gathering information, making choices in conversations, and, crucially, participating in races. Unlike typical adventure games with tacked-on minigames, the racing here is fundamental to the story's development. To progress, you first need to hone your skills with practice runs, learning the courses. Then, you challenge rivals in battles to increase your notoriety. Meeting various characters, rivals, and potential love interests triggers events that push the narrative forward. Success in racing is vital. Winning battles not only raises your fame, but also unlocks story progression and events. However, crashing during races results in vehicle damage, requiring costly repairs and preventing further movement until fixed, severely hindering your progress. It emphasizes that mastering the driving passes is essential. The article specifically highlights the infamous
Genbu Pass, a challenging course known for its complex corners, where tactical driving is key. A local legend, Solomon's Nightmare, is associated with a particular spot, the Solomon Rock, where numerous accidents occur. Key locations within the pass include the Sunroad Drive-In and the Fujimi Restaurant, serving as race start and finish points. The game effectively links your performance on the track directly to your success in the overarching adventure narrative. This page features a fantastic giveaway from Especially, giving gamers a chance to snag some cool merchandise from their recent Tokyo Game Show presence. If you missed the event or couldn't grab these items then, now's your chance. The focus is on popular titles like Gun Griffon 2, showcasing an impressive 1/72nd scale movable model kit of the 12 style Armored Walker Hymax, alongside a pilot jacket and a baseball cap. Grandia fans aren't left out, with a jigsaw puzzle, a telephone card featuring the main cast, and even a plushie of the adorable Pui. Finally, the dark and mysterious Baroque is represented with its own jigsaw puzzle and telephone card. It's clear Especially had some great goods on offer, and this giveaway provides a neat cross-section of merchandise for some highly regarded Saturn titles. This page continues highlighting the cool merchandise Especially had available at their Tokyo Game Show booth, now offering them through a special giveaway. If you missed out on snagging items for games like Silhouette Mirage, Radiant Silvergun, Code AER, Yumi Mix Remix, and Danijin at the show, this is your chance. Featured items include vibrant telephone cards for Silhouette Mirage and Code R, various jigsaw puzzles showcasing charming artwork from Silhouette Mirage, Yumi Mix Remix, and Danijin, and even a single CD featuring the epic soundtrack of Radiant Silvergun. Especially also includes a message to fans, thanking them for visiting their booth at the recent Tokyo Game Show. They are planning to sell these goods in the future. Details are still undecided, and are actively seeking opinions from users on what kind of merchandise they'd like to see released. For those interested in the giveaway, instructions on how to apply via postcard are provided, with a deadline of May 28th. This page features an exciting upcoming release for the SEGA Saturn, the unique title Osama Game, or King's Game. This isn't your typical strategy game. It's centered around a lively, idols as much as you like theme. The striking visual features a man dressed as a king, surrounded by portraits of 8 attractive young women, who are the idols you'll interact with. The game is presented across 2 discs, allowing players to choose their favorite idols. The core gameplay seems to involve competitive battles, where the winner gets the ultimate prize, the ability to command the loser to perform a punishment game, promising great satisfaction. Given the premise and the 18+ age restriction clearly noted on the page, this King's Game leans heavily into fan service, and likely features suggestive or adult content. Published by Società Daikanyama, this Sega Saturn exclusive was scheduled for release on May 28th, priced at 6,800 yen before tax. It certainly looks like it offers a distinct experience for Saturn owners looking for something outside the usual genres, focusing entirely on interaction with these featured idols. This page is dedicated to reader submissions. Titled, Let's Aim for the Reader Contribution King. It features a collection of comments, thoughts, and illustrations from magazine readers. The weekly bulletin board section includes brief notes from readers, such as mentioning the release of Olympus's iTrek head-mounted display, and sharing personal experiences, like being helped by a high school student after a bicycle mishap. Readers express appreciation for the kindness of young people, and comment on daily life observations. Individual contributions include text columns covering various topics, from personal struggles with work-life balance and bathing habits, to more abstract thoughts about the world and expectations. Illustrations are also featured, depicting original characters and references to games. One illustration shows a character from Megami Paradise Cataclysm with a congratulatory message. Another depicts a character resembling Doraemon in a peculiar state, and references Dragon Force 2 by requesting illustrations for it. The overall tone is informal, personal, and sometimes humorous or quirky, showcasing the diverse thoughts and creative output of the magazine's readership. This page is dedicated to reader contributions, featuring comics, letters, and various thoughts. It kicks off with a 4-panel comic titled 4, and a section called Love, which translates to, Are You Loving It? This segment includes an emotional piece seemingly directed at Sonic the Hedgehog, referred to as the world's fastest hedgehog, and another character named Randy Ann, expressing deep connection and feelings evoked by their speed and existence. Below this, under the bold header, All Humans, are various reader submissions from across Japan. These submissions cover a range of topics,
From personal anecdotes about daily life, work, and family, to experiences related to gaming. Readers share quirky stories like seeing an elderly player dominate at Virtua Fighter 3 in the arcade, a mother praying over a game console after King of Fighters 97 crashes, and a cat chewing through a console power cord, affecting multiple systems like the Mega Drive and Master System. There are also submissions featuring reader-drawn comics, including a 4-panel comic about a character called No Good Guy Next Door, and another series titled New Ambition. These contributions offer a humorous and personal glimpse into the lives and gaming habits of the magazine's readership.
This page is a fantastic dive into the SEGA Saturn magazine community, filled with diverse reader submissions. It picks up where the previous page left off, showcasing the thoughts and opinions of the magazine's dedicated readership. A prominent section is titled, I Hate This Kind Of, where readers vent about aspects of sports games they dislike. Submissions cover various genres, including baseball games with complaints about unfair gameplay and annoying coach voices, and Let's Make a Soccer Team, Saskatsuku, where readers express frustration with certain player types or the process of creating supporters. There's even a humorous take on a hypothetical sequel to Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, suggesting absurd scenarios. The variety of complaints highlights the passionate, sometimes critical, eye of the gamers. Another notable feature is Higashi Kana's Boys Forbidden After School Club, a reader corner exclusively for girl readers. Here, contributions range from funny anecdotes about game store experiences to playful discussions about character design preferences in fighting games, showing a different perspective within the gaming community. The page concludes by detailing the numerous reader contribution corners available in the magazine, such as sections for illustrations, daily happenings, and specific game-related topics like rumors and shopping experiences. It serves as an open invitation for readers to share their voices and become an active part of the publication. This page features the Park Gallery, showcasing illustrations submitted by readers. The next theme for submissions is Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon. The gallery displays a variety of fan art, featuring characters from popular SEGA Saturn titles like Shining Force 2 Eyes, including Kana, Irvine, Julian, and Yogurt, as well as characters from Baroque, such as Iris and Jean-Paul. There are also illustrations seemingly inspired by the Lang Risser series. The comments accompanying the artwork offer glimpses into reader preferences, observations about game versions, and playful remarks about the characters. Some readers express enthusiasm for specific characters or gameplay elements, while others share personal anecdotes related to the games. So the gallery is an information section detailing the guidelines for submitting illustrations and text contributions. It outlines the format, materials, and content requirements, emphasizing the use of postcards and black ink. It also explains the point system, where published submissions earn points that can be redeemed for prizes like book coupons or SEGA Saturn game software, giving contributors a tangible reward for their participation. The page concludes with the magazine's address for sending in submissions. The next page is promoting the first volume in the SATA Maga MOOC series, focusing entirely on the intense fighting game, Cyberbots: Full Metal Madness. This MOOC, presented by the SEGA Saturn magazine editorial team, is touted as an unprecedented ultimate strategy guide, created by a 2D fighting game expert writer over 3 months. It offers complete coverage for both versus battles against other players and challenging CPU opponents, packed with extensive game data. A major highlight for fans is the inclusion of exclusive illustrations drawn by the Capcom development staff, along with previously hidden data. The guide promises to cover everything about the game's impressive combo system, from beginner techniques to advanced strategies, featuring striking images of the game's iconic Vortex, like Jin Saotome's mech and others. This, a 5-sized 160-page guide, is available now for 1,500 yen, published by SoftBank Corporation. It's essential reading for any player looking to master cyberbots on the Saturn. This page dives into the world of J.League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2, the popular management simulation game on the Sega Saturn. The feature highlights the ongoing first SATA Maga Cup tournament, specifically the 10th year division main event, which pits reader-created clubs against each other. The tournament kicked off with 32 clubs that advanced from a massive pool of 254 entries, showcasing the dedication of players aiming to build the strongest club. The page details the rules of this in-game competition and announces the enticing prizes for the top finishers, including game software of choice,
commemorative t-shirts, and replica team uniforms. The core of the page presents the results up to the semifinals for both the A and B groups of the tournament. While not listing every single team, the brackets visually display the progress of the competing clubs, their representative players or managers, and even their chosen tactical formations like 352 zone press or 413 counter. It's clear the competition is fierce, reflecting the strategic depth players have achieved in managing their virtual J.League teams. The magazine promises to keep readers updated on who will ultimately emerge victorious in this simulated battle for supremacy. This page dives deeper into the 10th year division of the SATURN Maga Cup tournament held within J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru 2. It presents the crucial final matches for both the A and B groups, determining which two clubs will face off in the Ultimate Championship. A group final saw Estella Shimonoseki take on Kakagawa Shootlets. Estella secured their victory by winning both matches, first 10 and then a decisive 20, demonstrating strong tactical execution and earning their spot in the overall final. Meanwhile, the B group final featured Mutos Haramachi against Koto Rosa. After a goalless draw in the first match, Mutos Haramachi dominated the second leg with a 31 win, highlighted by goals from players like Noda and Viscas, crowning them the B group champions. A review of the tournament notes that successful strategies often revolved around counterattacks and implementing the zone press, showing how players adapted their tactics effectively. Looking forward to the grand final, the magazine is running a prediction contest where readers can guess the final score and the number of special plays in the championship match between the two group winners. The highly anticipated final battle between a group winner Estella Shimonoseki and B group winner Mutos Haramachi will be covered in full detail in the next issue of the magazine. This page covers the results of the Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon Technique Contest. The development staff judged the entries, emphasizing originality over pure practicality. The top prize was awarded for a clever technique involving identifying magic arrays by using a lens of identification item placed on the ground. This was noted as something even the developers hadn't discovered. An excellence award went to a technique where players can use a specific scroll on the current floor to summon multiple bosses, even in areas already cleared. This offers a chaotic and challenging way to play. Another notable technique highlighted, though not a top winner, involves a method to prevent hunger effects, allowing players to comfortably equip powerful items that normally cause hunger to drain faster. Winning entries received unique illustration boards signed by the staff, and a special award was given for an enthusiastic report. The page includes screenshots showing the game's interface and characters like Arlenaja facing multiple enemies. This guide for Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon offers player tips and answers common gameplay questions. The Phenomenon Etc. section addresses quirks, such as why only Scherzo gets ejected from a specific magic array, likely a character trait. Another tip warns players about money bag placement, signaling potential traps. Equipping goldification or transformation rings guarantees these effects on Katapuyo and Ganseki Puyo due to frequent critical hits. The guide also cautions against using overpowered techniques that might have been excluded from competitions. These include items like the Stick of Goldification, which can instantly defeat bosses. The method of infinite increase allows for unlimited money and leveling by duplicating items using the compact of magic and purchasing golden apples, potentially destroying the game's balance. This page is the Machi Bulletin Board, a regular feature dedicated to the critically acclaimed SEGA Saturn sound novel, Machi. Hosted by Ume and Tetsu, affectionately known as the Machi Baka, or Machi Idiots, this section is all about engaging with the game's community. They dive into reader submissions, discuss the game's characters, and share anecdotes related to the game's complex narrative and casting. A notable highlight is the profile of actor Akiba Yuzo, whose film, TV, and commercial credits are listed, discussing his connection to the game. The page also features illustrations from readers, often depicting characters or scenes from Machi. There's a tip of the week, focusing on character details, mentioning Hoso Yoshiko's distinctive dimples as a charm point. It's clear this section thrives on reader interaction, creating a lively space for fans to share their passion for Machi. This page features a hypercolumn with two distinct sections. The left column, Free Talk Gallery Volume 18, discusses the SESA Awards, highlighting the ceremony attended by industry members and even selected voters. The article details the voting process involving user input and SESA member aggregation. While the top prize went to Final Fantasy V2, which sold over 6 million units globally, the column also mentions other excellent titles like Gran Turismo, Intelligent Cube, Grandia, Denshitago, and Yoshi's Story among the winners. The author seems to ponder the efficacy and fairness of the award system, suggesting that improvements like dedicated user choice or best-selling categories might enhance its credibility and reflect the gaming landscape better. The right column, Sarah Ikibukuro's Virtua Crash Volume 52, features a column by Sarah Ikebukuro discussing her experience with Virtua Fighter 2. She describes her journey learning the game, particularly focusing on mastering defensive techniques like guarding and the APE plus K plus G input for quick landing after being launched, which is crucial for survival in this game. She emphasizes the depth of Virtua Fighter 2 compared to the original, and her ongoing process of incorporating advanced maneuvers into her playstyle. A separate section titled Yutaka-kun this week shifts to a personal note, sharing an amusing anecdote about a child's affection hierarchy, and includes a charming photo of the child in large glasses. This page features the 22nd installment of the SEGA Diary manga strip, centered around the iconic SEGA mascot, Segata Senshiro. The strip follows Segata as he engages in his rigorous, albeit bizarre, training regimen, including attempting thumb handstands while balancing objects, showcasing his unwavering dedication to games even during mundane activities like going to a public bath. The narrative takes a comedic turn when Segata encounters a beautiful woman, immediately recognizing her as Miss Japan, and becomes completely smitten. In a sudden declaration of devotion, he attempts to dedicate himself to her, wash basin and all, which predictably leads to a confrontation with a police officer who mistakes his eccentric behavior for perversion. Segata vehemently denies being a pervert, insisting he is simply Segata. The strip concludes with Segata trying to enlist the woman's help in keeping the incident a secret from someone named Sakura-san, adding a humorous twist. While no specific game titles are mentioned in the panels themselves, the character of Segata Senshiro is synonymous with the SEGA Saturn and the company's passionate spirit. This page showcases a collection of game-themed manga and anthology comics. It features titles from the 4,DX series, including a volume dedicated to the massive Game Boy hit Pokémon, illustrated with the iconic characters Red and Blue alongside Charizard. Another 4 volume covers the fighting game Battle Arena Nito Shin. The page also highlights the Super Game Anthology comic series, with several entries based on popular fighting games. You'll find anthologies for the classic PlayStation Fighter Battle Arena to Shinden, its sequel Battle Arena to Shinden 2, the quirky fighting series Power Instinct 2, and the beloved Capcom fighter Darkstalker's Revenge. There's also an anthology for the dating/mahjong game series Super Real Mahjong PV Paradise. These books collect comics and illustrations by various artists, expanding on the worlds of these well-known titles. This page kicks off a new column by the esteemed composer Noriyuki Iwadare, known for his work on classic titles like the Grandia and Lunar series. In this first installment of Noriyuki Iwadare World, Come On, Let's Go! He introduces himself and shares his journey into composing game music, starting from piano lessons and eventually working on iconic games including Langrisser. He also mentions his work beyond games, such as stage music and even pieces for Tokyo Disneyland. The column features a section reviewing a game music CD, specifically the Vent Grandia arranged version, where he highlights tracks and invites reader feedback on game music. He also introduces a piece of gear he loves, the Yamaha DX7 synthesizer, explaining how its unique sounds influenced his compositions, particularly the distinctive distorted guitar sound found in Langrisser. The page includes a personal snapshot and a brief information panel mentioning his involvement in a Tokyo Disneyland event and various upcoming festivals. This page dives into Nobunaga's ambition, Shouseiroku, focusing on the dynamic historical events that make the game so engaging. The article explains that by fulfilling specific conditions, players can trigger famous moments from Japanese history, many of which are beneficial and shape the course of the game. Screenshots highlight pivotal events like the decisive Battle of Okehazama and the tragic Hanaji incident, underscoring their significance. Playing as Oda Nobunaga is suggested as the best way to experience a large number of these events, due to his central role in the era. The page also details several key events, outlining the conditions required to trigger them, and the effects they have. This includes events like being appointed shogun, granting permission for Christian missionary work which can open trade but strain other relationships, establishing matchlock gunsmith villages to improve military production, and appointing individuals to important shogunate posts, all of which tend to improve loyalty and relations with other daimyo. These events add depth and historical flavor, rewarding players who strategically pursue the necessary conditions.
The next page delves deeper into the historical events you can trigger in Nobunaga's ambition. Shouseiroku, focusing heavily on the early career of Oda Nobunaga. It details the specific conditions required and the significant outcomes of each event, demonstrating how player actions, or the passage of time, can reshape the game world based on real history. Highlighted events include the pivotal meeting at Shotokuji between Nobunaga and Saito Dosan, which strengthens the Oda-Saito alliance but causes friction within the Saito family. Renaming Inabayama Castle to Gifu Castle is another key event, marking a significant step for Nobunaga. The page also touches on more dramatic moments like the tragedy at Chikubu Island, though its gameplay effect isn't detailed, and the crucial Kiyosu alliance, which sees Matsudaira Motoyasu become Tokugawa Ieyasu and form a powerful, long-lasting alliance with the Oda. Naturally, the game includes the legendary Battle of Okehazama, where Nobunaga's forces decimate the invading Imagawa army, resulting in the death of Imagawa Yoshimoto and a huge blow to his clan, while boosting the Oda. Finally, the construction of Azuchi Castle is covered, a massive undertaking with specific prerequisites, leading to a powerful new base, but also detailing how it can be halted if circumstances change drastically for the Oda clan. These events are essential for players guiding Nobunaga through his rise to power, offering both opportunities and challenges that impact relationships, loyalty, and strategic positioning. This page continues detailing historical events within Nobunaga's ambition, Shouseiroku, that shaped the game world based on real history. It prominently features the pivotal Honnoji incident, the famous assassination of Oda Nobunaga. The page outlines the specific in-game conditions, including the year and month, the locations of key figures like Nobunaga, Hideyoshi, and Mitsuhide, and the outcomes, such as the deaths of Nobunaga, Nobutada, Moriranmaru, and the subsequent rise of Hideyoshi and Katsui as major powers inheriting parts of the Oda domain. This event drastically alters the game's landscape. Beyond Nobunaga, other significant events are covered. The Heavenly Friends event highlights Toyotomi Hideyoshi's relationship with the Hojo clan during the siege of Odawara. There's also the tragic conflict between parent and child event, focusing on the Takeda family, detailing Shinjin's conflict with his son Yoshinobu. Tokugawa Ieyasu's difficult decision regarding his wife and son is depicted in Ieyasu's distress. The page also covers Yusugi Kenshin's appointment as Kanto Kanrei, changing his name and boosting loyalty. Further events include the symbolic Mori's Three Arrows, emphasizing Mori Motonari's lesson to his sons, and the Shingu Party incident, an internal purge within the Mori clan. Finally, the page describes the Tsugaru disturbance, where Tsugaru Tamanobu declares independence from the Nanbu clan. These events add historical depth and dynamic shifts to the game, affecting character relationships, clan power, and territorial control.
This page focuses on winning Post 3, a horse racing simulation game by Koei. The content provides key data for players starting the game, specifically focusing on building strong bloodlines and triggering special in-game events. A significant portion of the page details the compatibility between different bloodlines for breeding. It explains that finding good matches between the father and the dam sire is crucial for producing horses with high ability right from the start of the game. A chart illustrates compatible pairings with dots. The page also highlights how to trigger various in-game events that don't occur during standard gameplay. These events add depth and potential rewards. Specific examples of events are detailed, including the Derby Horse Father-Son event, the Titania event, and the Il Piccolo event, each with unique triggering conditions. The game encourages players to experiment to discover these hidden events. The overall aim is to guide players on strategic breeding and event triggering to enhance their gameplay experience. This page continues the Winning Post 3 strategy guide, providing essential data for players beginning their journey in the world of horse racing simulation. The main focus is on the stallions available early in the game, including some that become accessible later. A large table lists numerous horses with crucial details like their stud fee, suitable racing distances, growth patterns, temperament, dirt track suitability, and bloodline. This information is invaluable for strategic breeding, which is a core mechanic of the game. Below this extensive data, the guide shifts to an event guide, detailing how to meet various key characters in the game. It outlines the specific conditions and locations required to encounter individuals, such as Sakurako Arima, Hisanari Koihara, Kyo Arima, and Chika Yasuda. Meeting these characters often triggers unique events that can provide significant benefits or further your progress in the game. A screenshot shows Sakurako Arima being introduced. The guide also provides a small legend explaining how to interpret the symbols used in the table for temperament and dirt suitability. This page, much like the previous one, focuses on leveraging game mechanics beyond just racing to build a successful stable and enhance the player experience. This page continues the Winning Post 3 Strategy Guide, providing vital data for ambitious stable owners. Following the information on stallions from the previous section, this page presents a comprehensive list of 200 broodmares, available right from the game's beginning. The large table details each broodmare's age, evaluation price, home farm, optimal racing distance range, growth type, temperament, dirt track affinity, and bloodline. This extensive information is crucial for planning your breeding strategy, helping you select mares that will cross well with your stallions to produce foals with desirable traits. It's all about building the foundation for future champions through smart genetic pairings. This page continues the Winning Post 3 Strategy Guide, providing essential data for players looking to build a successful stable. Following the section on available stallions, this page focuses entirely on broodmares. It presents a comprehensive list, acting as a catalog of potential mothers for your future champions from the start of the game. The detailed table provides critical information for each mare, including her age, value, home farm, optimal racing distance preferences, her growth curve type, temperament, affinity for dirt tracks, and her bloodlines. This extensive data is vital for players to evaluate each mare's potential, determine compatibility with their chosen stallions, and make informed decisions about which mares to acquire to lay the foundation for a strong breeding program. It's all about combining the right genetics to produce top-tier racehorses. This page features a guide for the game Himitsu Sentai Metamor vs. It explains some of the key gameplay mechanics, focusing on how to progress through the story and utilize special abilities. A major point highlighted is the super finishing move system, where players collect keywords throughout the game and combine them to create powerful attacks during combat scenarios. A screenshot shows the menu for this, including options for keywords and executing the combined move, resulting in super finishing move Devil's Horn in the example. The guide also details the ALIS system, which involves making emotional choices during character interactions. These choices, indicated by a heart icon, affect character relationships and can unlock new keywords or alter the scenario flow. It emphasizes paying attention to these choices, as leaving them unattended will result in the default option being automatically selected. Two tables are presented as scenario guides for the first two episodes, titled Red's Growth and Blue Light, Metamor Blue Appears. These tables list the scene number, location, available ALIS options like calm, nervous, or none, keywords obtained, marked with a star, and where the scenario branches based on choices or keywords. This structure helps players navigate the story paths and acquire necessary keywords for special moves. The guide stresses using these tables to maximize enjoyment and understanding of the game's branching narratives. This guide expands on Himitsu Sentai Metamor V, offering gameplay strategies and scenario walkthroughs for episodes 3 and 4. Detailed tables map scene progression for specific episodes, detailing locations, ALIS options, essential keywords, and story branches influenced by player choices. These tables are crucial for navigating the game's multiple paths and finding combat essential elements. A section lists all success keywords available through episode 4, which are vital for executing powerful super finishing moves that award bonus points. The guide also explains how to combine keywords to unlock others. Finally, the guide details how to unlock all 6 endings. Endings depend on the trust levels with the 4 main characters, with the best end requiring over 500 trust. Players are encouraged to replay the game or strategically use save points in later episodes to manipulate trust levels and achieve all endings. A screenshot of the save menu shows ending indicators for tracking progress. This page presents a reader survey designed to gather feedback and demographic information from the magazine's audience. It provides detailed instructions on how to fill out the survey postcard correctly, including how to write answers and examples for various response types.
The survey asks readers for basic information like gender and age, as well as their school or occupation. It inquires about their reading habits, specifically which computer game magazines they frequent. A core part of the survey focuses on their gaming ownership and desires, asking how many SEGA Saturn games they own, and which hardware they currently possess or plan to purchase, from a lengthy list covering various consoles like the Saturn, PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and PC, along with peripherals. Perhaps the most extensive section is the list of software, asking readers to select up to 10 titles they wish to purchase in the future. This list features a vast array of games, both released and anticipated, including major titles like Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Resident Evil 2, Virtua Fighter 3, Rayman 2, Dungeons & Dragons Collection, and numerous others spanning various genres. Finally, the survey seeks specific feedback on the current issue, asking readers to identify which articles they found most and least interesting from a provided list of the issue's contents. This survey serves as a vital tool for the magazine to understand its readership and tailor future content and promotions. This page is an advertisement for a phone-based information service called iDo Phone Personal. It promotes getting the latest information using your mobile phone or PHS device, accessible by dialing the number 9991. The ad positions the service as a powerful communication tool and information base, emphasizing that everything except the call charges is free. It outlines the process in 2 missions. The first explains how to obtain an EverRead and password, requiring users to navigate through prompts after dialing. The second mission describes infiltrating the service's picky corner to gather information. This involves entering your ID and password and accessing various numbered rooms or topics. The page features a diagram showing a base with rooms dedicated to popular anime and game series of the era. These include topics like Evangelion, Tokimeki Memorial, Slayers, Sakura Wars, Rurouni Kenshin, The World of Hayao Miyazaki, Sentimental Graffiti, Galaxy Fraulein Yuna, Graduation, Fengshen Yanyi, Martian Successor Nadeshiko, and Yukyu Gensukyoku. It's a fascinating cross-section of popular Japanese media, accessible via this early mobile service. The page is illustrated with a dynamic character in military gear, holding a rifle, giving a sense of the mission concept. The warning section briefly notes prohibited uses and service limitations. This page features information on the Eve the Lost One World guidance book for the SEGA Saturn. It's a comprehensive guide for the multi-site adventure game, highlighting various aspects of the game's world and story. The guide is structured with sections covering reports from key locations like Japan and Elydia, offering a story explanation that merges the perspectives of the game's dual protagonists, Snake and Kyoko, brought to life with beautiful graphics. It provides a complete introduction to the characters appearing in Eve the Lost One, including fan favorites like Kojiro and Marina. The book also boasts a gallery filled with over 10 illustrations from magazines and promotional materials, plus original artwork, accompanied by comments from artist Sune Noguchi. For fans interested in the game's development, there's a making of section featuring detailed setting materials, a technical explanation of Lost One, and interviews with the staff. Uniquely, the guide includes a newly written short story, 2 Countries, 2 Nights, which aims to fill in a 3-day gap in the game's narrative. The page is visually anchored by striking anime artwork of a character from the game. Smaller images show game scenes, and potentially the cover of the guidance book itself. Published by SoftBank Publishing, this 4-size, 112-page full-color guide was available for 2,200 yen, excluding tax. It offers an in-depth look for players wanting to delve deeper into the mysteries of Even the Lost One. This page dives deep into the world of Sakura Wars 2, offering fans essential resources to enhance their experience. Featured prominently are 2 guidebooks from SoftBank Publishing. The first is a comprehensive strategy guide titled Sakura Wars 2, Love and Battle Complete Strategy Guide. This book promises in-depth strategies and detailed data collection, covering aspects like the Imperial Assault Force's Flower Division members and various gameplay possibilities. It's slated for an early September release at an estimated price of 1,300 yen. The second book, Sakura Wars 2, Setup Material Collection, serves as an introductory guide for those aspiring to join the Flower Division. It details the mindset of the members, explains new game systems, covers service rules, provides internal information about the Imperial Theater and its equipment, and includes practical examples from the entrance exam questions. This guide is already available for 950 yen. Finally, the page highlights the official fan club,
the Taisho Roman Club. Membership offers fantastic benefits like an original card holder, a fan club magazine published 6 times a year packed with Sakura Wars information, access to member-exclusive mail order for goods, and a special original telephone card upon joining. The annual fee is 5,000 yen, and you can apply via postcard or the internet. It's a must for dedicated fans looking to enjoy the Sakura Wars world even more. This page features an emergency interview with Kenji Iino regarding the delayed release of his upcoming title, Real Sound 2, Kiri no Orjo. The game, developed by Warp, is an interactive sound drama that was originally slated for a June release, but has been postponed indefinitely, now expected sometime next year, possibly by spring. Ishino explains the delay is due to technical challenges, specifically related to achieving high compression rates and implementing a complex multi-stream playback system on the SEGA Saturn. The game requires a significant amount of data, and the goal is to fit it onto a single CD, or 2 at most, leading to the technical hurdles and time investment. He details the need for a system that can simultaneously play multiple audio tracks, like music, sound effects, and dialogue, adapting them based on player choices or events in real time. This interactive design, he notes, is different from previous works, and is crucial for the game's unique experience.
The game is planned to cost 5,800 yen.
This page continues the emergency interview with Kenji Iino, delving deeper into the reasons behind the delay of Real Sound 2. Iino explains the technical difficulties of achieving high compression and complex multi-stream audio playback on the Saturn hardware, stating it was a major hurdle requiring collaboration with other companies. He notes that while they've completed the core multi-stream system, integrating it and optimizing for the Saturn is taking longer than anticipated, pushing the release well into the next year, possibly spring. The discussion then shifts to Warp's next project, D2.
Iino mentions that a production announcement event for D2 is imminent, where more details will be revealed.
He hints that D2 will be a departure from his previous philosophical and intense themes, possibly influenced by recent personal changes. He reveals that he recently became a father, sharing a brief anecdote about the birth. He reflects on how this life event might impact his future game development, suggesting a potential shift in perspective or focus, though he's still figuring that out. A small box announces the D2 production announcement event, scheduled for May 23 at the Tokyo International Forum Hall A, with free admission for the first 5,000 attendees. The page features striking portraits of Kenji Iino, reflecting on the challenges and changes discussed in the interview.
This page features a comprehensive guide and review for the highly acclaimed game Sakura Wars 2, aimed at players revisiting the game or those tackling its complexities for the first time. It covers everything from mastering character interactions using the lip system to gaining an edge in combat. Part 1 provides a detailed strategy for the latter half of Episode 4, highlighting key story points and events players need to be aware of. Part 2 offers charts and guides to help players achieve perfect relationship routes with their chosen characters, explaining how building trust through lips impacts combination attacks and overall combat effectiveness. Beyond gameplay, the feature delves into the world of Sakura Wars. Part 3 presents a Q&A session where the development team at SEGA directly answers fan questions about the game. Part 4 explores the historical context of the Taisho era setting and its influence on the game's world and characters. The feature also extends to other Sakura Wars media. Part 5 revisits the anime adaptations, including the popular OVA series, discussing their connection to the game's story. Part 6 highlights the Sakura Wars musical, detailing its cast, production, and unique take on the series. Finally, Part 7 includes a special message from the creator, OHJI Hiroi, and announces the launch of reader participation pages for fans. This is a deep dive into all things Sakura Wars 2, helping players relive the experience and discover new facets of the beloved series. This page is part of the extensive feature on Sakura Wars 2, following up on the detailed guides from the previous page. It features striking artwork of 3 key characters: the cheerful Sakura Shinguji in her iconic kimono, the powerful Kana Kirishima, and the adorable psychic Iris Chateaubriand. The large stylized text is part of the game's title, signifying the subject matter. The green text above translates to, "useful for playing one more time with full charts, etc." reinforcing that this page, likely alongside the previous one, provides valuable resources for players wanting to revisit the game or optimize their playthroughs, potentially utilizing the character relationship charts and combat strategies discussed earlier in the feature. It's a visual highlight concluding or introducing a section of the guide dedicated to helping players master this complex and beloved tactical RPG. The next page continues the in-depth guide for Sakura Wars 2, focusing specifically on completing the latter part of Episode 4. The large text at the top announces a complete strategy for the remainder of Episode 4. The guide details the critical events involving Kuran, who plunges into flames to rescue a suspected arsonist, and Ugami's subsequent rescue attempt. The page covers several key moments, explaining Kuran's distressed state when found by Ugami, and the backstory behind it related to a childhood incident. It also provides practical gameplay advice, including the correct route to escape the burning restaurant, emphasizing the importance of choosing the right doors. Furthermore, the guide outlines Utagami's crucial decision point regarding how to react to Kuran's state. Finally, it details the climactic confrontation against the Black Demons and the timely arrival of the Sauryu Maru airship, setting up the major battle to repel the enemy. It seems to be a step-by-step walkthrough to get players through this challenging part of the game, complete with character portraits and screenshots illustrating the key scenes. This page provides a detailed strategy guide for the latter part of Episode 4 in Sakura Wars 2, focusing on building trust with Kuran and unleashing a devastating combination attack. The guide prominently features the superb Fierce Fire Red Dragon Roar attack, explaining its power and the conditions needed to activate it, suggesting key points in battle for maximum effect. The episode highlights the importance of the Lips dialogue system in building Kuran's trust, Shinraido, through various interactions scattered across different locations before the final confrontation. A comprehensive Lips strategy route is mapped out, detailing the correct responses to give during events at the hospital, salon, underground hangar, steam computing room, Kuran's room, and even during combat scenarios. The guide also includes steps for navigating a specific sequence, likely the escape from the kitchen area mentioned previously, emphasizing time-sensitive choices like opening doors. The page is illustrated with character portraits of Kuran and Ugami and screenshots from the game, showing key Lips moments and the impressive visuals of the combination attack. This serves as a vital resource for players aiming to fully experience Kuran's storyline and unlock her ultimate potential in battle. The next page provides a strategy guide for a crucial scenario in Sakura Wars 2, focusing on the evacuation of Yamaguchi using a steam car. This battle presents players with a key objective: safely moving the vulnerable steam car to a designated gate on the map. The guide outlines two primary strategic approaches: the decoy strategy and the escort strategy. The decoy strategy involves diverting enemy attention away from the car, while the escort strategy focuses on directly protecting the car as it moves. The page highlights the car's limited durability and the importance of preventing it from taking significant damage, noting its basic stats. Players must carefully consider which strategy is best suited to their team's composition and the flow of enemies. Building on the previous page's theme, the guide reiterates the critical role of combination attacks in clearing large groups of enemies to open a path or protect the car. Activating these powerful attacks depends on character proximity and high spirit levels. The page also touches upon character-specific events that can occur based on the team member's reliability, using an example involving Kuran's inventions, reinforcing the importance of building relationships through the Lips system. Screenshots show the battle map, enemy units, the steam car, and character dialogue moments. This page dives deeper into the strategy for Sakura Wars, with a guide for the climactic battle of the 4th episode. The target is Kasha, a formidable opponent controlling the powerful Goko mech. The battle objective is clear: defeat the Goko. The guide emphasizes that while Goko is the primary threat, players should also be aware of Kasha's subordinate unit, U, a flying mech that supports the main boss. A key strategy recommended is to aggressively surround Goko using close-quarters combatants like Ogami, Sakura, Kana, and potentially Lenny to quickly restrict its movement. Once Goko is pinned down, long-range attackers such as Sumair, Kuran, Iris, and Oriheim should be positioned at a distance to provide consistent damage. Screenshots show the battle map, the impressive Goko mech, and character dialogues. Maria makes a timely appearance, stating she arrived just in time, while Kuran expresses her determination to burn the enemy down. The page also highlights the victory pose screen players will see upon success, and touches on character interactions, including a humorous moment with Sakura feeling teased by Ogami during a Lips event. Finally, the page introduces Minister of the Navy Kazutoyo Yamaguchi, detailing his profile and his role as a patron of the Imperial Theater who provided assistance after the recent disaster, reinforcing the game's blend of mecha combat and character-driven storytelling. The next page is a deep dive into optimizing your relationship with Iris in Sakura Wars 2, specifically focusing on the Lips system and achieving her powerful combination attack. Titled, Chapter 2,
Iris Arc Combination Attack Strategy. It provides a super decisive guide to navigate key LIPS events and build trust. The guide breaks down the LIPS choices during Chapter 2 into two parts: before and after Iris's temporary breakdown. It lists specific locations like the entrance, shop, Iris's room, basement armory, bathroom, and kitchen, highlighting important dialogue options that boost her trust and affect the story. These range from simple greetings to more complex interactions about dreams, feelings, and even naming a stuffed animal. A dedicated section details how to achieve Iris's combination attack. Iris Pretty Jumble. It shows target stats for both Ogami and Iris necessary for this powerful move, and notes that reaching the required state during a battle on the mountaintop requires strategic movement over 2 turns. Finally, the page touches on Iris Adult, or Adult Iris. This refers back to the big iris seen in a dream sequence in the first game, and explains that adult likely means an adult version, suggesting the design is based on Iris being around 20 years old. Illustrations show Iris in various forms, including the concept of her as an adult, alongside battle screenshots. This page is essential for players looking to maximize their bond with Iris and unlock her full combat potential. This page provides a strategic guide for Sakura Wars 2, focusing on the LIPS system and achieving combination attacks for Kana and Sulamire during Chapter 3. Titled as a super decisive complete guide for the rest of Chapter 4, implying preparation in Chapter 3 is key, it specifically notes that both Kana and especially Sumire have surprisingly few LIPS opportunities in their arc, urging players to be attentive as Sumire only has 2. The guide lists specific LIPS events for Kana and Sumire, detailing the locations such as the courtyard, stage, Kanzaki family entrance, hallway, and during battle. It highlights key dialogue choices needed to build trust and unlock their powerful combination moves, including one LIPS event for Kana that is timing sensitive, and another for Sumire during battle, where she reflects on a marriage interview. Kana also has a battle LIPS triggered when she's near Ogami's mech. Dedicated sections showcase each character's combination attack. Sumire's move is the Kanzaki Fujin style, Shisen and Shika, and Kana's is Seiinshin. For each attack, the guide presents target parameters for both Ogami and the girl, such as durability, spirit, and trust, that players should aim for to reliably execute these powerful moves. Screenshots and illustrations depict the characters, their mechs, Kubukai, and the dynamic visuals of the combination attacks themselves, emphasizing their visual flair and importance in combat. The guide stresses that considering the attack range, Kana's attack might be preferred in certain battles. This page provides a strategic walkthrough for the daytime portion of the first chapter in Sakura Wars 2, specifically covering the free movement period from 11:20 a.m. to 12 p.m. The goal is to efficiently trigger events and meet characters within the new Grand Imperial Theater layout. The guide details events available at various locations during this tight 40-minute window. In the office, players can meet Yuri and receive instructions. Visiting the captain's room hallway triggers an event with Sakura. In the game room, you'll encounter Sakura and Iris. A key LIPS choice here, specifically remaining silent, is highlighted as boosting their trust. An event in front of the empty seat also features Yuri. Finally, the manager's office is where Ogami receives his uniform, with a warning against being late. A supplemental section notes additional events not shown on the main chart, like encountering Kasumi on the stairs leading to the basement, which is currently under renovation. These events are triggered by simply passing certain points in the hallways. The page includes screenshots depicting Ogami, Sakura, Iris, Yuri, Yoneda, and Ayame during these interactions, showcasing their dialogue and reactions. A timeline chart visually maps the availability of star-marked events across different locations within the theater. The next page continues the event guide for the free movement period in Sakura Wars 2's first chapter, shifting from the daytime covered previously to the nighttime hours between 9:30 p.m. and 9:55 p.m. It details key events you can trigger around the Grand Imperial Theater during this limited window. The guide highlights several locations and potential character interactions. You can attempt to invite Oriheim and Sakura for a night patrol, leading to different outcomes and events depending on your success. Visiting Iris's room reveals she's missing, triggering an event in the costume room to search for her. Events on the stage and terrace vary significantly, based on whether Oriheim is accompanying you, offering unique scenes and dialogue related to rehearsals or perspectives on the city. There's even an event tied to escorting Sakura back to her room after patrol, a returning fan-favorite moment from the previous game that boosts trust. The page emphasizes how your choices and the presence of companions like Oriheim alter the content you experience, encouraging players to explore different paths. A helpful timeline chart visually maps the availability of these events across the theater's different floors, distinguishing between events that occur regardless of Oriheim's presence and those that require her absence. This detailed breakdown is crucial for players aiming to see all the available character moments and deepen their relationships. This guide focuses on the free movement segment of Sakura Wars 2's second chapter, specifically the preparation for the new members' welcome party. Iris always accompanies you, making her trust level crucial. The guide details key locations and events. You can buy photos at the shop, which increases Iris's trust. Visiting Iris's room lets you interact with her stuffed animals, including a customizable rabbit. Oriheim's room offers interactions, but touching photos lowers her trust. In the warehouse basement, you help Sakura find party decorations. A rooftop event involves Oriheim. A chart at the bottom maps event availability across locations. These free movement periods are vital for building relationships and unlocking character-specific scenes. This guide details navigating the free movement section of Sakura Wars 2's second chapter at night, focusing on finding Iris. After Iris runs off, players must explore specific locations within a limited time frame. Visiting the dressing room before 10:15 a.m. triggers an event with Oriheim, with failure leading to a trust loss. The prop room, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., features Saki, and failing to visit it results in her arriving and lowering trust. Sakura's room, 10:05 a.m. to 10:55 a.m., and the rooftop rear room, 10:05 a.m. to 10:55 a.m., have events crucial for progression, requiring specific prior actions. Successfully resolving the Sakura event, followed by finding Iris on the rooftop, is essential for completing the chapter and returning Iris to normal. The guide emphasizes efficient use of the 1-hour period. This page covers the daytime free movement section of Episode 3 in Sakura Wars 2. Following the shocking news that director Yoneda has been shot, the atmosphere is heavy, and this segment focuses on Otorigami's efforts to lift the spirits of the Flower Division members. You have a limited time frame, from 1420 to 1500, to explore various locations around the Grand Imperial Theater and trigger character-specific events. Key events highlighted include finding Reni training intensely in the training room, who seems unaffected by the news, focusing only on strength for battle. In the rooftop rear room, you can continue Oriheim's event chain from Episode 2, encountering her muttering to herself. Saki appears in multiple locations. In the steam calculator room, she's pondering how to operate the impressive machinery. Her events also occur in the underground hangar and, significantly, in the manager's office. The manager's office event is time-limited and reveals a poignant photo of Yonieda with his old unit, explaining his sole survival. Successfully navigating these interactions is crucial for building trust and progressing the story during this somber period. The chart at the bottom visually maps out which locations are accessible and have events during the allotted time. Episode 4 of Sakura Wars 2 offers a wealth of daytime free movement events, rewarding multiple playthroughs to experience everything. Time-sensitive character interactions abound, impacting character trust. From 1500 to 1530, Oriheim offers a piano lesson, while Lenny interacts with Ron in the courtyard. Iris's study session runs from 1500 to 1600. Later, Kana hosts an eating contest in the cafeteria, 1530 to 1600. And Sumair hosts tea time in the salon, 1535 to 1600. In the courtyard, Sakura has the Strike Towards Tomorrow minigame. Success in these events, triggered by being in the right place at the right time and making correct choices, is crucial for building trust and unlocking future events. A timeline chart is provided for easy event tracking. This text details insights from the Sakura Wars 2 development team, focusing on the adventure gameplay. The developers discussed the creation of fun, replayable minigames, where high scores boost character trust, but low scores don't penalize it. Visual details include numerous graphic patterns and pose variations for the characters. Save data from the original game unlocks optional bonus content in Sakura Wars 2. Lip's dialogue choices impact hidden internal data, How you select, not the speed, influences trust. The Ogami personality gauge further influences message variations, event triggers, and trust gains from lips, adding depth to gameplay. The Q in a format highlights these features, emphasizing the game's interactive and nuanced mechanics.
This page presents a queue and a session focused on the simulation or battle part of Sakura Wars 2, continuing the deep dive into the game's mechanics. It covers crucial aspects like how cooperative attacks trigger, explaining it's mostly random but heavily influenced by character trust levels and specific pair-ups, which can be encouraged through strategic direction. The page also clarifies why attack damage varies, stating it's a combination of a base value and a small random element, but emphasizes that character trust significantly impacts stats like attack, defense, and mobility, highlighting how low trust visibly decreases performance, as shown with character stats and a screenshot of Kinu. Terrain effects are discussed, confirming that height differences impact movement and attack range for certain units, while others like Kinu, Iris, and Kofran are less affected, making them valuable on complex maps. Battle evaluation is solely based on whether any units retreat. Getting excellent requires 0 retreats, and anything less indicates a retreat occurred, negatively impacting trust. Finally, it addresses the frequently asked question about skipping special attack animations. The first time you see an attack, you can't skip it. But subsequent viewings allow skipping by pressing the A button, drastically speeding up gameplay. This applies to combined attacks as well. The inability to skip the initial viewing is noted as part of the game's presentation of its world and characters. Screenshots throughout the page illustrate these points, showing battle scenes, character stats, retreat events, and combined attacks. The next page delves into the fascinating Taisho era as depicted in the world of Sakura Wars, contrasting it with the actual historical period. While the game's setting is an alternative history, it incorporates many surprising and appealing elements from the real Taisho era, which makes it so captivating. The page highlights several key aspects. First, transportation in the game mirrors the period, featuring the Imperial Steam Railway, steam cars, and even steam buses, noting the interesting parallel of female bus drivers existing in both the game and real history. Second, it explores how information is disseminated, mentioning media like radio broadcasting, newspapers, and paper theater, kamishibai, alongside the advanced communication device called kinematron. Third, the page discusses entertainment, focusing on the Imperial Opera Company as a major form of popular culture in the game's Taisho era, drawing a connection to the real-world Takarazuka Revue. Performances at the Imperial Theater are highlighted, with screenshots showing the grand building, and stage productions like King Lear. Finally, a brief section summarizes the actual Taisho era in Japan as a short but vibrant period marked by rapid Western cultural adoption, the development of unique Japanese culture, and the spread of urban life, media, and the rise of the middle class, including the emergence of modern girls. The page concludes that the game successfully captures the spirit of this dynamic historical period. Screenshots throughout the page illustrate these points, showing transportation, media devices, the Imperial Theater, and character interactions. The next page dives deeper into the world of Sakura Wars 2, exploring key aspects of its setting and characters. It examines the relationship between the Imperial Combat Review and the traditional military branches, the Army and Navy, illustrating the command structure and mentioning figures like Commander Yoneda and the ministers of each branch, noting their often contentious interactions. The page also introduces the new characters, Orihime and Lenny, highlighting their origins from Italy and Germany respectively. It points out the interesting parallel to historical events like the Tripartite Pact, and notes their previous affiliation with the Star Division. Furthermore, it discusses specific elements within the game's lore, such as Ciel Su Steel, a unique material integral to the Imperial Combat Review's technology like the Kubu mechs and the Imperial Theater, and Hokushin Itoryu, the sword style practiced by Sakura, noting its basis in a real-world martial art. Finally, the page touches upon the naming conventions within the team, observing that Flower Division members typically have names related to flowers, while Orihime and Lemani are exceptions, with names linked to stars from their former unit. It also draws a connection to the historical poem Thou Shalt Not Die by Yosano Akiko, suggesting that understanding the poem's context adds a layer of appreciation to the game's narrative themes. Screenshots throughout the page feature characters like Yoneda, Orihime, Lenny, Sakura, and Maria, along with visuals of the Kubu mechs and settings. Sakura Wars. Cherry Blossom Splendor, an original video animation, features content not found in the games. The third act, Yayoi's first battle in spring, adapts events from the first game, depicting Sakura's arrival and early battles in Imperial Tokyo. The OVA showcases her initial struggles and the Flower Division's first joint fight. The checkpoint section revisits the first act, which precedes Sakura Wars 2. This act details the scouting of Flower Division members and reveals the Kubu and Rishi Kubu development. Watching it after playing Sakura Wars 2 highlights connections to the game's plot, particularly the Zero document linked to the Star Division and its recruitment process, adding depth to characters like Orihime and Lenny.
This page dives deeper into the Sakura Wars. Cherry Blossom Splendor OVA, focusing on the second act, unleash the sacred sword on the cherry blossoms, and giving a sneak peek at the fourth act. The second act showcases the formation and initial activities of the Imperial Combat Review's Flower Division. We see the members training in performance arts. Sumire joins the team, while Kana departs for Okinawa. Sakura struggles with her sword training, aiming to master the Hokushin Ritoryu Ogi. The OVA highlights the spirit sword Arakami, which Sakura obtains.
Its history is explored, providing context for its presence in the Sakura Wars 2 game.
Key moments include Sumire and Maria's performance of Romeo and Juliet, and the dramatic appearance of the Black Imperial Council and their Kubu mechs, initiating the Flower Division's very first battle. Looking ahead, the page previews the fourth act, the series finale.
This act is a side story set during the timeline of the first game, centering on Commander Ugami Ichiru. It hints at him sensing something significant and leading the Flower Division in a unique battle, different from their usual fights. The specifics of this certain thing are kept under wraps, building anticipation for the final release on July 25th. The page emphasizes that this act is a standalone episode, distinct in feel from the others but highly anticipated. Screenshots capture the intensity of battle against the Black Imperial Council, and a lighter moment with Iris and Ugami. The next page continues the Sakura Wars feature, focusing on the stage musical adaptation, Sakura Wars Blooming Maiden. It's presented as a special magazine encore performance report, giving readers a look at the show that filled theaters and brought the game's emotion to life on stage. The page dives into the musical's story, covering the prologue, where the lingering effects of war lead to the appearance of the Queen of Darkness. It introduces the Oto Megumi, a training unit tasked with developing spiritual power to combat demons, highlighting the struggles of the young girls within the team. It touches upon characters like Tsubomi and Haruka no Nomura, referencing connections to Sakura Wars 2.
Key characters from the musical are showcased with photos of the cast in costume, including familiar faces like Iki Yoneda and Kohran Ri, played by stage actors, as well as original musical villains like the imposing Queen of Darkness and the eerie Black Pierrot. The images capture moments from the stage production, showing the scale and visual flair of the musical adaptation. This page provides a great look at how the beloved game universe was translated into a live performance, detailing the story and the talented cast who brought these characters to life. This page continues the report on the Sakura Wars stage musical, Blooming Maiden, delving further into the show's narrative and key moments. It touches upon the struggles faced by the male characters regarding the Oto Megumi's readiness and potential deployment, highlighting their anguish. The musical's story unfolds with battles against the Queen of Darkness, showcasing the intense conflict and focusing on the surprising turn of events where Oriza Amakusa becomes an adversary connected to the Queen. The page also explores the personal journeys of the characters, detailing their individual feelings and motivations amidst the challenges. A pivotal moment is Oriza's awakening, a key plot point in the show. The report culminates by describing the musical's grand finale, noting the positive audience reception and the themes that resonated with attendees. Finally, the epilogue shows the girls graduating from the Oto Megumi unit, marking the conclusion of their journey. Featured prominently on the right side are the actresses from the Minami Aoyama Shoujo Kagekidan, who played the Oto Megumi characters, complete with photos for each role, including Haruka no Nomura, Oriza Amakusa, Maya Kazamatsuri, and others. The page concludes by announcing that the emotion returns with a singing show performance scheduled for the summer.
This page continues the coverage of the Sakura Wars stage musical, focusing now on the sought-after merchandise. If you couldn't make it to the theater or a Lawson store to order the musical video or soundtrack CD via their Loppy terminals, which offered special bonus draws for signed items, this magazine offers another chance. They are running a massive giveaway for original goods from the Sakura Wars Blooming Maiden musical offering a total of 77 prizes. Fans have the opportunity to win various items directly tied to the show, including different versions of the program pamphlets, a unique fan, commemorative phone cards featuring characters like Sakura, Haruka, and Tsubomi, or the Minami Aoyama Shoujo Kagekidan cast themselves, the musical's theme song and insert song CD, practical items like pencils and a teacup, decorative goods such as a clock, letter set, and a lantern, along with a happy coat, keychain, and a large poster. Each item is limited, with only 5 or 6 winners per prize. To enter the giveaway, you needed to send in a postcard with your details, specifying which item you wanted, and even mentioning which musical member made an impression on you. A nice touch for fans! The deadline for entry was May 28th. It's great to see these unique tie-in goods highlighted after the detailed report on the show itself. This page introduces the Taito Journal, a new reader participation cultural section specifically for Sakura Wars fans, starting with this preparatory issue. It kicks off by reflecting on the successful conclusion of the Sakura Wars musical's Osaka performance, featuring a message from the series' creator, Oji Hiroi, and introducing a surprising real-world location tied to the game. Oji Hiroi shares his thoughts on the recent success of Sakura Wars 2 and the musical, expressing deep gratitude to the fans and everyone involved. He looks forward to tackling new entertainment ventures centered around the Sakura Wars universe, mentioning preparation for the upcoming Kaiusho 2 musical. The big reveal is that the battleship Mikasa, seen in the game's prologue movie, is a real, preserved ship located in Yokosuka. The reporting team actually visited Mikasa Park to see it. While the game features an enormous aerial battleship Mikasa, described here with its fictional size and armament, the actual Mikasa was a pivotal flagship in the historical Russo-Japanese War. The park surrounding the ship is highlighted as a beautiful spot, with musical fountains and nearby attractions, easily accessible from the city. The page also includes sections for readers to submit finds related to the Taisho era, fan art and cosplay photos, and Sakura Wars anecdotes. This page is an advertisement for the Perfect Guide strategy book for the SEGA Saturn title, Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed. Prominently featured is Giran Zabi, the charismatic leader of the Principality of Zeon, alongside various iconic mobile suits like the Zaku, Dom, and Camphor, set against a dramatic backdrop. The advertisement highlights that this is a 168-page guide, currently on sale. It promises to be an indispensable resource for players looking to conquer the game's complex strategy. The guide includes easy-to-follow strategies utilizing maps, details on the game's numerous events, a comprehensive list of mobile suits and their development requirements, and character profiles. It also covers 3 hidden modes that allow players to start with different factions, and features a special sealed section revealing the conditions for triggering events. The screenshots provide a glimpse of the game's tactical battles and unit information displays. This guide is presented as the definitive resource for mastering Giran's Greed. This page is a guide to the latest and upcoming SEGA Saturn titles. It features illustrations of characters who appear to be from the Detective Jinguji Saburo series, including the protagonist himself. Fittingly, as one of the highlighted upcoming games is Detective Jinguji Saburo, At the End of a Dream. The page serves as a helpful resource for players planning their game purchases, covering a variety of genres. It lists newly released games, such as Ultraman Encyclopedia 3, the Konami Antiques MSX Collection Ultra Pack, the fighting game Pocket Fighter, and the simulation title, Let's Become the Manager of the Japan National Team. It also gives a preview of titles releasing soon, prominently featuring the highly anticipated Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Detective Jinguji Saburo, At the End of a Dream, and Idol Mahjong Final Romance 4, offering a glimpse into what Saturn owners could look forward to acquiring in the near future. The page clearly aims to keep players informed and excited about the diverse range of software available and on the horizon for the console. This page dives deep into Ultraman Encyclopedia 3 for the SEGA Saturn, continuing the previous page's mention of the title. This is the 3rd installment in the database series, focusing on the later entries in the classic Ultraman franchise. The game boasts a high level of quality and serves as a comprehensive resource for fans. It covers series like Ultraman Leo and Ultraman 80, detailing their stories, characters, and monsters, with extensive data and screenshots. It also features more niche entries, including the pilot film for Ultraman Neos, the overseas productions Ultraman Great and Ultraman Powered, theatrical films, and special series like Ultra Fight. Players can access detailed profiles of Ultramen and monsters,
browse episode summaries, and even use a movie card feature to view full-screen video clips. This is an absolute must-have for any serious Ultraman fan looking for an exhaustive digital encyclopedia on the Sega Saturn. The sheer volume of information and inclusion of less common entries make it incredibly valuable. This page features 2 exciting upcoming Sega Saturn releases. First up is Konami Antiques MSX Collection Ultra Pack, a compilation bringing together 30 classic Konami titles originally released on the MSX home computer. This disc is packed with gems from Konami's legendary golden era, offering a massive library of games on a single disc. Screenshots showcase iconic shooters like Gradius and Twinbee, and the text highlights the inclusion of the humorous Parodius. It's presented as a valuable collection for fans of retro gaming. Below that is Pocket Fighter, known internationally as Super Gem Fighter Minimix. This fighting game features popular Capcom characters from series like Street Fighter and Darkstalkers, reimagined in a cute, deformed style. Despite the comical appearance, it offers a solid fighting experience, with simplified 3-button controls and unique mechanics like power-up crystals. The Saturn version includes exclusive modes, such as Free Battle, Running Battle, and Training, adding significant replayability. It also supports the 4 MB RAM expansion cartridge for enhanced performance, making it a highly recommended fighting game for the system. This page features 2 upcoming Sega Saturn releases. First, we have Melty Lancer Reinforce, an enhanced port of the popular PlayStation racing simulation game. Set in the future, you play as protagonist Randy, training under 6 female senior Lancers in the EMP division. The goal is to grow into a capable Lancer. This Saturn version is packed with additional elements, including various mini-games beyond the main story, like an arcade-style shooter, and the battle segments are tactical, with cute chibi characters. A cool feature is the title screen changing graphics and messages depending on the time you start the game, offering personalized greetings. Below that is Become the Coach of the Japan National Team, World's First Soccer RPG, a unique collaboration between Sega and Enix. This title builds upon the mechanics of the Let's Make a J.League Pro Soccer Club series, but shifts the focus to managing the national team. As the coach, you'll scout players from around the world, conduct training, develop strategies, and compete in international tournaments, with the ultimate goal of winning the World Cup. It blends traditional soccer management simulation with RPG elements like character creation, player growth, and story events. This page highlights 2 distinct Sega Saturn releases. First up is AI Shogi 2, a sophisticated Japanese chess simulation. The reviewer gives it a perfect 100% rating, praising its AI for playing with human-like unpredictability rather than dry calculation. It features adjustable difficulty, handicaps, and the ability to record and replay games for analysis. A major draw is the inclusion of Sume Shogi, chess puzzles, with 100 new problems included from a shogi expert. The screenshots show the standard board view and examples of the Sume Shogi challenges. The game also boasts fast thinking speeds and a function to display the AI's best suggested move. Below that is Karyatos, a frantic 6-player action game, rated at 99%. Its core premise is simple: kick your opponents off the stages to win. Set on Karyatos Mountain, the game features a tournament format with 21 unique characters, each possessing distinct special abilities. The screenshots showcase the colorful 3D environments and character models. The game is highlighted as easy to pick up and play, making it perfect for casual fun with friends and family, especially with support for up to 6 players simultaneously. This page introduces Waku Waku Monster, an intriguing puzzle game that adds a unique twist to the falling block formula. While the core gameplay involves dropping and matching colored blocks, the defining feature is the raising element. You hatch a monster from an egg, and its growth and evolution are tied directly to your performance in the puzzle game. Basic gameplay involves clearing blocks by matching 3 or more of the same color. As you clear blocks and perform combos, you fill an attack gauge. Filling this gauge allows you to perform attacks against your opponent or activate defensive abilities, adding a strategic layer to the puzzle action. The game also features special blocks, like the OP block that obstructs your opponent and the helpful flash block that clears nearby blocks and neutralizes OP blocks. Players select from one of 4 gods and embark on a journey to raise the strongest monster. The reviewer highlights the fun of watching your monster change and grow based on your playstyle, noting that even the specific colors of blocks you clear can influence its development. Scheduled for a July '98 release, this Ultron title supports 12 players and is recommended for all ages, promising a delightful blend of puzzle solving and creature care. Waku Waku Monster features a unique monster-raising mechanic where feeding colored blocks dictates growth and evolution. 6 block types, each representing an attribute like strength, green, cuteness, red, and appetite, blue, influence the monster's development. Players collect these blocks within a puzzle game, then feed them to their monster, tracking progress via an in-game graph. The game also introduces characters associated with each block color: mode, strength, Anrich, cuteness, Ran, good looks, Peiko, appetite, Azealia, mutation, and Luage, mischief. The reviewer praises the direct link between puzzle gameplay and monster evolution, finding it a novel and engaging aspect. This page features an upcoming adventure game, Jake Hunter Detective Story, The End of the Dream. Fans had been waiting, and the publisher announces the release date is set for July 9th. Priced at 5,800 yen. It's an adventure game recommended for players aged 18 and up, playable by 1 person. The page provides introductions to the game's key characters. We see the sharp-dressed great detective, Saburo Jinguji, who runs his agency in Shinjuku after leaving a wealthy family background. There's also his assistant, Yoko Migiwa, whom Jinguji values for her investigative skills, and the veteran detective, Sanzu Kumano, a cheerful and responsible figure from the local police force. The page also introduces guest characters involved in this specific case, including Yoko's friend, Yuka Nagata, her younger sister Miki, and the new detective Masahiro Noda, who often clashes with Kumano. The publisher addresses a previous delay, assuring fans that the Saturn version, which they aim to release quickly, offers high-quality CD-level sound, fast loading times thanks to ADX technology, and original cases. They are confident players will find it worth the wait. This page delves into the mechanics of Jake Hunter Detective Story, The End of the Dream, the 6th entry in the series, highlighting how it enhances the core detective experience. The focus is on systems that let players truly feel like they are searching, investigating, and thinking for themselves. The traditional command selection adventure is expanded with new features. The ISP command, a series staple, allows Jinguji to perform actions like smoking a cigarette, which can trigger valuable hints for the investigation. The new D mode, or deluxe mode, aids in solving cases through conversations. Players analyze dialogue to infer character profiles and situations, organizing information and receiving hints when they make incorrect deductions. Further enhancing the gameplay is the wrapping system, introduced in the previous game, which allows players to view and investigate the case from multiple character perspectives, not just Jinguji's. This gives a broader understanding of the events unfolding, particularly highlighted with the story elements set in New York. The SMODE, or search mode, provides a highly interactive way to examine crime scenes and locations. Rendered rooms can be meticulously searched, feeling as if you are physically there, checking drawers, bookshelves, and other details to uncover clues. The game also incorporates modern elements like mobile phones, used for checking on other characters' progress or receiving urgent calls. Jinguji himself possesses unique privileges, including access to the D mode and SMODE systems, distinguishing his capabilities from other playable characters. Screenshots throughout the page illustrate these various systems and the characters involved. This page features an interview with the developers behind the SEGA Saturn version of what appears to be a Jake Hunter Detective Story game, commemorating its release date decision. The large title exclaims, "What the developers really want to say," with a subtitle suggesting this game is their most confident work yet. The interview includes the producer Hidekazu Nishiyama, scenario writer Hirotaka Inaba, sound director Makoto Hamada, graphic designer Taiyo Sato, and system/planning person Tomomi Uchimura, all pictured with their roles. A major focus of the discussion is why the SEGA Saturn version received an 18+ rating. Nishiyama explains that while they aimed for a simultaneous release with the PlayStation version, differing censorship standards between Sony and SEGA led to the delay and rating change for the Saturn version. The primary reason for the 18+ rating on Saturn, according to the developers, was the depiction of narcotics, which is a key element in the game's story. The scenario writer, Inaba, confirms the narcotics issue was integral to the plot. The developers chose not to alter the scenario to lower the rating,
prioritizing their intended message and realistic depiction of the subject matter, including the portrayal of a narcotics addict shown in one of the accompanying character illustrations. They emphasized that accepting the 18+ rating allowed them to deliver the story they envisioned, assuring players that their creative intent remained intact. The interview also touches on the challenges of depicting real-world crime and detective work within game regulations. This page continues the developer interview for the Jake Hunter detective story game, offering further insights into its creation and the team's vision. The developers express strong confidence, stating this title can only be surpassed by a future installment. They highlight leveraging the SEGA Saturn's capabilities, particularly in the graphical presentation. A significant point of discussion is the detailed work put into depicting shadows on characters and backgrounds, which the graphics team considers crucial for setting the game's atmosphere, and a technical achievement they couldn't fully realize on older hardware like the Famicom. The conversation revisits the sensitive topic of intoxication, contrasting the depiction of being drunk from alcohol versus narcotics within the game's narrative, emphasizing the distinct narrative and emotional impact each portrayal aims for. The developers reveal their original plan was a simultaneous release for both PlayStation and SEGA Saturn versions, showing comparative package illustrations side by side, lamenting that this didn't happen. Finally, a unique game feature is highlighted. A jukebox in the game's bar location allows players to listen to the game's jazz soundtrack, which includes live trumpet performances, encouraging players to enjoy the music fully. The page includes character art demonstrating the use of shadows, a screenshot of the in-game jukebox, and the comparison of the PlayStation and Sega Saturn package designs. Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the Sega Saturn is coming soon, according to Konami, who have apologized for a minor delay, but assures the game is complete and refined. This installment departs from linear action, focusing on exploration within a vast castle. Players can freely explore, utilizing contraptions and environmental puzzles. Screenshots preview diverse locations, including a prison, training areas, and an underground lake, highlighting the strategic gameplay. Powerful monsters and boss encounters are also present. The Saturn version will be accessible to newcomers and features 2 new playable characters. Priced at 3,800 yen, it's a single-player action game recommended for all ages. The manufacturer promises a special offer for purchasers. This page delves deeper into the gameplay systems of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, specifically the Saturn version. It highlights how Alucard, one of the 3 playable characters, gains power by leveling up through combat, which boosts his attack and defense, making exploration smoother. Screenshots illustrate the level-up process and even show environmental interaction like pushing blocks, emphasizing the non-linear exploration. Furthermore, the page discusses the importance of items found or bought within the castle. Unlike traditional subweapons, Alucard can equip various main weapons and armor, fundamentally changing his combat style. Collecting different gear is presented as a significant source of enjoyment. Screenshots show Alucard wielding different equipment and using special abilities. There's also mention of a campaign where finding a specific item hidden in the game allows players to enter a contest to win a prize, autographed by Ayami Kojima, the series artist, limited to the first 15 applicants. A screenshot of a shop screen shows various items available for purchase, along with Alucard's stats. Overall, the page showcases the detailed progression and customization systems unique to this installment. This page expands on Alucard's abilities in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, detailing the unique systems that define his gameplay beyond basic progression and equipment. It highlights relics, introduced as magic devices, which aren't standard items but grant Alucard new inherent powers or abilities, like unlocking transformations or summoning allies. A major feature discussed is Alucard's ability to transform into different forms: a wolf, mist, and a bat. These transformations are crucial for exploration, allowing access to new areas of the castle, demonstrating the game's non-linear design. Screenshots show Alucard in these forms. The page also covers familiars, loyal companions that Alucard can summon. These familiars provide various benefits, from assisting in combat to healing or revealing hidden areas, adding another layer of strategy to exploration and combat. Several screenshots illustrate different familiars accompanying Alucard. Furthermore, Alucard can execute powerful dark arts or special moves by performing fighting game-style command inputs, adding depth to the combat system. This is a significant departure from previous Castlevania titles. The page also notes that Alucard inherits some of his father, Dracula's, signature techniques, suggesting a connection to the series' legacy
and offering powerful offensive options. Screenshots depict Alucard performing these dynamic attacks.
The large illustration showcases Alucard alongside creatures symbolizing his transformations and power. This page delves into the narrative heart of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, highlighting its strengthened story and RPG elements. It sets the stage 5 years after Richter Belmont defeated Dracula in 1792, with the mysterious reappearance of Dracula's castle. Simultaneously, Richter has vanished or been sealed away. Dracula's son, Alucard, awakens and is drawn to the castle, seeking answers. He is pursued by Maria Renard, Richter's sister-in-law, who is searching for him. The central mystery posed by the page is, what happened to Richter? Screenshots show key story moments and dialogue, including a flashback or memory involving Lisa, Maria encountering Alucard and asking about Richter, and a dramatic confrontation where Richter seems to be acting strangely, commanding Alucard and indicating his blood craves battle, suggesting he is involved in the castle's return or under some dark influence. Alucard questions Richter's actions and notes he is not himself. The page emphasizes the deep dive into the Belmont family's legacy and the tragic fate of Richter, pushing the series' storytelling forward. This page highlights Richter Belmont's role in Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the SEGA Saturn. Despite the narrative suggesting his disappearance or strange behavior, he is confirmed as a playable character, described as the strongest vampire hunter inheriting the legacy of the Belmont clan. Playing as Richter offers a different experience compared to Alucard. He relies primarily on his legendary whip and lacks the item equipping system used by Alucard. The page emphasizes the versatility of the whip, detailing various attacks beyond just swinging, and showcases Richter's unique special moves called item crushes. These powerful attacks consume hearts and vary depending on the sub-weapon equipped, with screenshots showing the impressive holy water and cross-item crushes, particularly effective against unholy creatures. The reviewer or content notes that playing as Richter provides a nostalgic gameplay feel for fans of previous Castlevania titles. A welcomed bonus for fans is the return of familiar BGM when controlling Richter. This adds another layer of appeal to his inclusion, complementing the expanded story and RPG elements introduced with Alucard. The page concludes by encouraging players to collect hearts to utilize Richter's devastating item crushes. This page shifts focus to the second playable character in Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the SEGA Saturn, Maria Renard. Known from her appearance in Castlevania Rondo of Blood alongside Richter Belmont, Maria returns 5 years later as a capable hunter in her own right. Unlike Alucard's item-based combat or Richter's whip mastery, Maria relies on a combination of martial arts and powerful summoning magic. Her basic attacks include quick kicks and energy shots, which can be charged and leveled up for increased power and reach, as demonstrated in the screenshots showing different blast sizes. Her true strength lies in the 4 Sacred Beast summoning techniques. While consuming magic, these abilities provide versatile options. The White Tiger delivers a devastating frontal assault. The Blue Dragon is a controllable, powerful elemental attack. The Vermilion Bird provides automatic offensive support, and the Black Tortoise offers crucial health recovery. This diverse magical arsenal makes Maria a unique and formidable character, offering a distinct gameplay experience from the other protagonists. This page features Idol Mahjong Final Romance 4, arriving on SEGA Saturn just a month after its arcade debut. The game is the 4th installment in the series and maintains the high quality expected. You can dive into the world of these idols with 2 main modes. The arcade mode significantly powers up the story elements, introducing 4 new characters to challenge. You'll play Mahjong against girls living in the fictional Akatsuki town and aim to select your favorite to become Miss Final Romance. Alternatively, the free match mode allows for authentic 4-player Mahjong gameplay. This mode boasts excellent controls and lets you check detailed results like round counts and winning rates. Character interactions and chat windows are integrated during matches, adding to the presentation. The game promises fun, whether you prefer the story-driven arcade experience or straightforward Mahjong matches with the charming cast. Released on May 21st for 6,800 yen, it's recommended for players 18 and over. This page delves into the details of Idol Mahjong Final Romance 4. As the chairman of the judging committee, your job is to play Mahjong against the girls in Akatsuki town and select candidates for the Miss Final Romance title. Losing means it's game over. The town map shows appearing areas where you'll find the 10 idol candidates. The page highlights 6 characters from the arcade version's 1P mode who return, each with their own image and brief profile,
such as Shunran and Ono Yuri. Additionally, 4 characters who were previously only available for versus play in the arcade now feature new CGS and endings in this version, including a Kanoe Tomoe and Kana. The strip scenes for these heroines are presented as dynamic scrolling sequences. Gameplay is enhanced by unique items available from shops located throughout the town. These items can provide strategic advantages during mahjong matches, such as the tile-seeing goggles, Skelter, or the mini-missile Dorahawk, adding an extra layer of depth to the competition. This page features advertisements for official guidebooks for 2 highly anticipated SEGA Saturn titles. The top section focuses on the Dragon Force. Tu Kamisarishi Daiichi no official guidebook. This guide covers the popular SEGA Saturn simulation game in depth, detailing abundant events, unique characters, battle strategies including formations, troop types, and special moves, as well as domestic commands like personnel and search. It also provides character and item lists, item synthesis methods, and other essential data. The guide is priced at 1,200 yen, is a 5 size, and contains 144 pages, scheduled for release in mid-May. The bottom section highlights the Shining Force 2i Scenario 2 Narawareta Miko official guidebook. As an official SEGA guide for the simulation RPG, it includes essential map data, complete coverage of the final stages, hidden item locations, and enemy information. The guide structure is data-focused, providing users with all necessary information. It is priced at 950 yen, is a 5 size, contains 144 pages with a binding, and is scheduled for release in late May. Both guidebooks are published by SoftBank. This page features an advertisement for a comprehensive strategy guide covering SEGA Saturn software released recently. The page is dominated by a striking illustration of an elf-like character in fantasy attire, complete with large white wings and holding an elaborate staff, set against a vibrant pink background. The guide, titled SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide, promises to be packed with data, highlighting important points and offering a thorough walkthrough. It specifically lists content covering 2 major SEGA Saturn titles: Dragon Force 2, covering the To the Land Where God Has Left scenario starting on page 164, and Shining Force 2i Scenario 2, The Targeted Child starting on page 168. This guide seems to be a valuable resource for players looking to fully explore these complex strategy RPGs. This page delves into the world of Dragon Force 2, bridging the 500-year gap between the first game and its sequel. Following the victory of Princess Tyr in Dragon Force End, a period of peace reigned, but the Dragon Force itself became unstable, splitting into positive and negative energies. The negative force eventually gave rise to the Dorgul tribe and their leader Granz. After 500 years, the Dorgul have awakened, seeking to revive the Demon King and plunging the land into conflict once more. The page also introduces the Tristan Kingdom and its ruler, Adelba, as the subject of one of the game's scenarios. Once a conqueror, Adelba is now consumed by grief over his deceased wife and makes a pact to revive her, becoming a pawn of Granz. A character relationship chart shows Adelba's key retainers and their roles within the kingdom, highlighting loyalties and dynamics. Furthermore, the page discusses the Tristan army's unique strength, centered around their mechanized Karakuri soldiers. It notes their general effectiveness, but warns of poor compatibility against specific enemy units like the High Beasts from Bozak or Ashigaru from Izumo, suggesting strategic preparation. The kingdom's primary rival is identified as Moon Paleness. The Tristan army mid-game strategy in Dragon Force 2 focuses on early expansion and utilizing demon units. First, quickly conquer Moon Paleness, prioritizing Laminia Castle, while noting Queen Lamini's limited threat. Next, move south to Izumo and Bozak, leveraging strong demon units while being wary of specific enemy types. After completing these areas, the guide suggests the route Fandaria, greater than Highland, greater than Topaz. However, avoid attacking Highland before the 23 turn mark, as this triggers demon betrayal. Conquer Fandaria, securing Billa Castle first. Before the betrayal, only unaffiliated generals can be recruited. Chris's departure and Tradnor's unavailability are noted disadvantages. The core strategy relies heavily on the effectiveness of the joining demon forces. This page continues the strategy guide for Dragon Force 2, focusing on the campaign for Queen Leonie of the Moon Palace Kingdom. It outlines the mid-game progression, starting with the initial clash against Tristan. The guide emphasizes capturing Ring Castle early, as it opens a direct path to Adelbaha's castle, Halsband. It mentions a specific event related to Adelbaha if you have 5 or more generals. The strategy then moves towards conquering Tradnor and securing Almaban Castle. The guide details invading Izumo Kingdom, where a critical event involves rescuing Kaid. This rescue must be done quickly, as it leads to Edwold joining your forces, which is highlighted as an important event. The suggested path after Izumo is Bozak, Highland, Fandaria, and then Topaz. While Bozak and Highland may not require direct combat due to events, progressing to Topaz necessitates defeating the Fandarian general, Gavel. A significant event discussed is the awakening of Queen Terrace after 500 years. Lenny's version of this event is noted as unique compared to other rulers' scenarios, highlighting the relationship between Graf and Clift. Finally, the page introduces some key demon opponents faced by the Moon Palace army, specifically mentioning Grace and Orc Avo, encountered around Ibel's Castle and Tuvival Castle. It recommends using a mix of warrior and mage units, and suggests leveling up in caves to prepare for these encounters. Screenshots show the strategic map route, key characters like Adelbaha or Caravo, Khalid, Edwold, Terrace, Graf, Clift, Grace, and typical battle scenes. The next page presents a comprehensive list of every general's skill in Dragon Force 2. This essential table details each ability by its Japanese name, elemental attribute, light, dark, fire, water, earth, and metal, the MP cost, target range, self, own soldiers, enemy soldiers, all soldiers, both generals or enemy general, power ranking, from E to S, and a description of its effect. The list reveals the depth of the game's combat system, showcasing a wide array of skills. These range from crucial self-buffs like Magic Charge for MP recovery, Axle to speed up casting, healing for HP restoration, and weapon enchantments like Fire Sword, Ice Shield, and Dancing Sword, to powerful offensive abilities targeting soldiers or the enemy general. There are area effect spells like Volcano, Fairy Ray, Meteor Storm, and Wave Blaze, alongside targeted attacks like the various elemental projectiles and blade skills. The list also includes unique support skills, like Resurrection for fallen soldiers, only usable in battle, and disruptive abilities like Silent and Call of Oblivion, which impact enemy generals. The inclusion of high-power strength skills, used by key characters like Sanasi, Eberl, Kaid, Parts, Shen, Adelbaha, Lenny, Genghis, and even the final boss's signature Dragon Force skill, highlights the unique capabilities of specific generals. This detailed breakdown is invaluable for players planning their army composition and strategy against different foes, illustrating the significant strategic options provided by the diverse skill sets available. In the Targeted Oracle, the Shining Force 2I continues as Medion's army enters the forest en route to a sacred location. They encounter a figure from the Bolzum faith, sparking a new quest involving a silver-haired boy. Chapter 2 highlights a battle, Stella's fate, and the recruitment of Zero and Hatsuki. Zero's potential departure necessitates strategic development. The page provides maps of Stamp Village, the Forest Elf settlement, including ground level and treehouse layouts. These maps guide players to shops, points of interest, and movable objects. The guide details how to trigger events, navigate treehouses, and prepare for battle. It specifically guides players to Treasure Chest 7, containing the Light of Hope for full MP restoration, utilizing screenshots for clear navigation. Item and weapon lists primarily showcase shop inventories. This page continues the strategic guide for Shining Force 2-1, the Targeted Oracle, focusing on two critical battles within the forest area. Battle 11, Big Tree Pass, involves navigating a multi-level map to defeat the Wolf Baron boss. The guide provides a map layout and lists the various enemies encountered, including skeletons, zombies, hunter elves, and vampire bats, alongside the boss. Strategic hints suggest waiting for the boss to appear and using range effectively. Following that is Battle 12, Sea of Trees Corridor, where the objective is to defeat a heretic boss. This section lists the enemy lineup, featuring heretics, succubis, skeletons, zombies, hunter elves, and vampire bats. The guide highlights the dangerous nature of Hidoba, who is controlled by the heretics and appears as an enemy here, warning of her powerful magic. It emphasizes the importance of preparing defensively. Key allies are also detailed: David, a ranger who joins the force, and Hidoba, who is central to the narrative of these battles. The guide provides portraits and brief descriptions of these characters, along with insights into their abilities and importance. The points section for Battle 11 mentions accessing David's room post-battle and finding a crucial item, the Tidal Flat Ruins map, essential for later progression. The unit data section briefly covers the stats of enemies encountered in these two battles. Post-battle 12 events reveal more about Hidoba's true identity and the appearance of Dishellen. This page features striking artwork, split down the middle. On the left, a fierce tiger, or large feline, is depicted with intense yellow eyes. On the right, a person with reddish eyes and light hair is shown.
The background is a mix of vibrant colors and textures, giving it a surreal, almost dreamlike quality. The text appears to be a narrative or story segment, identified at the bottom as interludium, and related to Baroque. This suggests it's likely supplementary material, or a side story connected to the SEGA Saturn game Baroque, known for its unique, unsettling atmosphere and challenging gameplay in a shifting dungeon. The text itself seems to delve into character thoughts and events within the world of Baroque, discussing concepts related to Baroque and its downfall, and the character's place within it, hinting at a deeper lore beyond the main game. The interludium is described as a short piece existing between Baroque and Baroque's prehistory, exploring the world state after Baroque's collapse. This page continues the narrative series known as Baroque Interludium, here presented as Volume 3, penned by Mariko Shimizu. Titled Escape, the story poses the question of who is the hunter and who is the hunted, suggesting a chase and the release of delusion via a key. According to the context provided at the bottom, this interludium serves as a prequel novel set before the great heatwave tragedy that marks the beginning of the game Baroque. It features characters like Kitsune Kanazawa, who unleashes aberrations upon those lost to warp delusions, and a girl named Ruby, who initially infiltrated Kitsune's office, seeking information about the aberration that killed her friend, and has since become a frequent visitor. The narrative likely follows Ruby and Kitsune as they navigate the strange world and the forces at play, delving deeper into the lore and origins of the anomalies seen in the main game. It's a fascinating look into the background world of Baroque, expanding on its unique and dark atmosphere. This page is the grand finale of the Satamaga Forum's VR art gallery for the critically acclaimed SEGA Saturn RPG, Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers. The magazine staff express their sincere gratitude to the dedicated fans whose enthusiastic submissions have filled these pages over the past 6 months, making it a truly vibrant forum. Even the developers at Atlus apparently enjoyed seeing the creative output from the fanbase. Featured here is a collection of fan illustrations showcasing various memorable characters from Soul Hackers. You'll find familiar faces like the dynamic duo Rei and Kazuha in a piece that serves as the final pinup, with a note hinting at the possibility of Kazuha's mysteries being explored in a future title. There are also depictions of the quirky Spookies group, the mysterious Namissa in unique attire, the cool craftsmen Muramasa and Ginkgo, the fallen angel Demon Seers, and other summoners and demons from the game's rich roster. The magazine staff provide brief commentary on each piece, praising the artistry and character portrayals, sometimes contrasting designs with previous games in the series, like Ria's evolution from the first Devil Summoner. It's a fitting send-off for a popular fan section, celebrating the connection between players and the captivating world of Soul Hackers. The magazine section dedicated to Devil Summoners, Soul Hackers, concludes with fan contributions and staff reflections. Fans shared game experiences and memorable moments. Final information revealed. Details. Late game secrets, including Namissa, learning a powerful spell at level 80+, and instructions for New Game Plus, hinting at areas like Uchihama Core and Gump. The Frost 5, a unique demon reflecting all attacks except almighty spells, is also introduced. Message from Atlus +1 features staff comments. Director Koji Okada thanks fans and explains the third-person perspective of the Vision Quest. Character designer Kazuma Kaneko discusses character design. Public relations staff Tadashi Kobayashi thanks fans for their support and announces the Soul Hackers Hyper Arrange CD. Writer Ida Ray shares his journey from fan to staff member. This page features a spotlight on Abe, presented as a Game World Prince, and the creator of Super Tempo, a highly anticipated action game. The article notes that Super Tempo caused a big panic due to its difficulty in obtaining, implying it was very popular and sold out quickly. Abe's high popularity is highlighted, linking it to his potential ranking in next year's popularity survey. The page also includes reader comments, expressing joy and excitement about playing the game,
and Meeting Abe. A small section details the card battle game, Arcana Strikes, which features tactical card battles. Related products mentioned are a music CD and ending theme handled by the Alfie, a Japanese rock band, and trading cards. A reader survey result is shown, listing the top games. Super Tempo debuts at number 1, followed by Sakura Wars 2, Super Robot Wars F Complete Edition, Kono yo no Hate, Dekoi wo Utau, Shoujo Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, and Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition. This page features Passion Langrisser Volume 4, dedicated to the upcoming game, Langrisser vs. It kicks off with a segment revealing secrets, detailing changes to the magic system in Langrisser vs. Notably, Summoner magic has been significantly buffed, becoming much more reliable, and there's a tantalizing rumor about the addition of ancient magic. There is a quirky section, titled, Revival! FF Battle, which seems to be a humorous staff commentary featuring a photo of muscular men, possibly a playful internal joke or reference. It mentions staff members using digital cameras now. The staff CG corner showcases a striking CG illustration of Ramda from Langrisser V, apparently depicted within a culture tank in Gizelov's lab. The artist mentioned being compelled to draw her because of her scary eyes. We also get an update from the Mesacan Network radio show column, now in its 9th installment. It highlights new segments on the show and notes that Langrisser vs. Information will be increasingly featured as the June 18th release date approaches. Finally, a section called Deepening Mystery. New Characters of V presents illustrations, likely fan art submissions, of 2 characters from the game. One is noted to be inspired by a scene showing Ramda with wings, interpreted as Wings of Magic. The page wraps up by inviting readers to submit postcards for future content. This page is dedicated to game developer Elf's 10th anniversary, highlighted by a major game submission contest with a total prize pool of 20 million yen. Elf is seeking creative game ideas for their 10th anniversary grand prize, emphasizing that originality and appeal are more important than just polish. The page also celebrates Elf's website, reaching over 1.1 million visitors, detailing new sections added, including information on their software and other relevant news. There's a section specifically for SEGA Saturn games, featuring news on both released and upcoming titles, including a screenshot of the game Wordsworth. Other features include an Elf museum showcasing character art and wallpapers, a reader participation corner where users can submit content like fan fiction, illustrations, and even cosplay photos, and news that the Elf Fan Club newsletter is now available on Creedrom, packed with content like movie clips and guest creator features, though noted as being for Windows only. The page concludes with a message from the Elf staff, thanking fans and encouraging participation in the anniversary events and contest. This page showcases Elf's Windows 95 title, Kusaku, an 18-plus voyeur adventure game. You step into the shoes of a girl's dormitory manager who has just 2.5 days, from Saturday evening to Monday morning, to achieve his goal, obtaining decisive photographs of the residents. The core gameplay involves meticulously planning your actions using a schedule, timing your movements to capture key moments, and utilizing various items like digital and video cameras. The game emphasizes strategic camera placement, capturing unexpected happenings, and crucially, retrieving the cameras afterwards to secure the photo data. Daily tasks, such as heating the bath or cooking, can also be exploited, potentially with the use of items like sleeping drugs. The game presents this premise with a depraved aesthetic, focusing on the impact a single photograph can have. Screenshots on the page depict the game's schedule interface, the room layout view for placing cameras, and various scenes featuring the dormitory residents. Kusaku is described as a significant hit for Elf, and is currently available for Windows 95. This page features the highly anticipated arcade shooter, Radiant Silvergun, developed by the legendary Treasure. The headline excitedly announces the game is finally ready for operation. The text emphasizes the game's intense difficulty, describing it as a tight experience that punishes any carelessness, featuring relentless bullet patterns and tough enemies. It highlights Treasure's reputation for challenging games and praises the graphics which blend polygonal enemies with detailed 2D sprites. Development is confirmed as complete after 3 months of fine-tuning, with the arcade release scheduled for late May 1998 on the STV board. Screenshots show various gameplay perspectives, from vertical scrolling action and boss fights to a character portrait, illustrating the demanding nature of this true shooting game experience that requires constant concentration from beginning to end. This page delves further into Treasure's challenging shooter, Radiant Silvergun, confirming its imminent arcade release. The main headline boldly proclaims the launch of the ultimate final fighter. Story details are revealed, with character art showing the crew of the Tetra Cruiser and a Roboroid descending to Earth 1 year after the initial events, illustrated by Han, the artist familiar from Gunstar Heroes. Screenshots showcase the game's intense vertical scrolling action with dense bullet patterns and large, detailed polygonal enemies. The page highlights key aspects: a unique 7-weapon system accessed via 3 button combinations, the impressive polygon modeling used for boss characters, some referencing past shooter greats, and the distinctive audio by Hitoshi Sakimoto, utilizing the STV hardware for a rich soundscape. A message from producer H. Iuchi emphasizes that the game was designed to evoke a classic arcade feel, deliberately niche, and focused heavily on its scoring mechanics, stating the true challenge begins once players master point earning. This is truly a game for dedicated shooter fans seeking depth and difficulty. This page is dedicated to Capcom, prominently featuring Hello, Capcom! Volume 52. The focus is on a campaign related to Capgene, likely a compilation series, asking readers to guess which 10 titles will be included in the upcoming 3rd through 5th volumes, from a list of 30 classic Capcom arcade and console games. Prizes await those who guess correctly. The page also includes the second part of a special feature on Darkstalkers, known as Vampire Savior in Japan, showcasing fan-submitted illustrations of characters from the series, such as Felicia, John Talbane, QB, Donovan, and Morrigan, alongside brief comments from the artists. Additionally, there's a brief announcement for the release of the Star Gladiator 2 soundtrack CD, and a contest offering a Star Gladiator 2 video as a prize for selected submitters. Guidelines are also provided for those wishing to submit computer graphics illustrations. This page details the results of a Capcom Osaka Development Department RPG planning contest. The event garnered a significant number of entries, and here, Capcom features the standout submissions and shares insights from 3 key development staff members: Yoshinori Takanaka, Kazuki Matsue, and Mitsuru Endo. The staff discussed their impressions of the submitted plans, noting that many focused heavily on narrative but sometimes lacked detailed system proposals. They highlight that entries which were easy to grasp and had immediate impact tended to catch their eye. Many entries leaned into fantasy settings, often involving swords, magic, and dragons. The page lists the winners for various categories, including the Bakake Prize, Best Setting Prize, Best Character Prize, Best Concept Prize, and Best Idea Prize. Briefly describing some of the unique winning concepts, such as an RPG about becoming rich and a warrior escaping, or an RPG centered around personal growth and self-liking. The page also showcases illustrations related to some of the winning ideas. The Capcom team provides commentary on what aspects of the proposals they found appealing, and reflect on the overall creativity of the entrants. Winners received prizes from Capcom. This page concludes the look at Capcom's RPG planning contest, with development staff members Yoshinori Takanaka, Kazuki Matsue, and Mitsuru Endo offering final thoughts. They reflect on the creative ideas submitted, noting that while many entries had strong narrative concepts, some lacked detailed system designs. They reiterate that easily understandable ideas with immediate impact were particularly memorable among the large volume of entries they reviewed, as seen in the image of staff sorting through piles of submissions. Adding a final perspective is producer Takeshita, formerly associated with both HAL Laboratory and Capcom, who also expresses gratitude for the numerous entries received and gives a shout-out to Pocket Fighter, a title Saturn players will certainly recognize. The page also features the 13th installment of Seiki Akimoto's A Mecha Mai Lecture, this time focusing on the Incredible Hulk. Presented by Seiki Akimoto's, who often adopts a thematic persona, the column delves into the origin story of Bruce Banner and his transformation into the Hulk due to gamma radiation and uncontrolled rage. It details the character's immense strength and the ongoing conflict between the brilliant but fragile Bruce Banner and the monstrous Hulk, exploring his nature as a being feared and misunderstood, whose power is directly tied to his emotional state. This page provides a detailed strategy guide for Rain in Capcom's 3D fighting game, Star Gladiator 2, known internationally as Plasma Sword, Nightmare of Bilstein. The guide highlights Rain's strengths, including her impressive reach and varied combo potential, while pointing out her surprising weakness at long range despite having a long weapon. The key to playing Rain effectively, according to the guide, is mastering zigzag movement using the move button to approach and evade. The core battle strategy revolves around getting in close. While Rain struggles from afar, her close-range game is strong, emphasizing mix-ups, the always have two options concept, and powerful combos. The guide breaks down essential moves, such as the Plasma Strike, useful for linking hits and chase attacks, and the Plasma Reversal, performed with B+M, a crucial reflection technique for defense. It also touches upon the game-changing Plasma Field, capable of leading into devastating combos like the 19-hit Freeze Blade mentioned. The guide also covers basic combo strings and a bonus technique for follow-up attacks after a hit. Overall, it paints Rain as a character who excels once she closes the distance, relying on quick movements, mix-ups, and punishing combos to secure victory. This page introduces a new feature titled Flat Out, part of the SEGA AMR&D official section, acting as a machine guide for SEGA Rally 2. This first installment focuses on the iconic Subaru Impreza 555 WRC. The guide delves into the car's impressive real-world performance, highlighting its incredible feat of winning the manufacturer's championship in the World Rally Championship for 3 consecutive years from 1995 to 1997. It discusses the car's capabilities and its famous drivers, including rally legends like Colin McRae and Piero Liotti. The article touches upon the Subaru team's performance in the 1998 WRC season, noting some early challenges, but also mentioning strong results later on, like a win in Portugal and a dominant 13 finish in the Tour de Corse, indicating their potential for a comeback. The page features images of both the in-game representation of the car from SEGA Rally 2 and thrilling shots of the real Subaru Impreza in action during WRC events. It's clear the guide aims to showcase the pedigree and power behind one of SEGA Rally 2's star vehicles by linking its virtual presence to its real-world dominance. This page continues the flat-out feature, moving from the WRC rally car to a truly special road-going machine, the limited edition Subaru Impreza 22 BSTI version. This isn't just any Impreza, it's a 400-unit monster built for Japan's roads, heavily inspired by the WRC car with its wide body, distinctive front grille, and powerful stance. The page highlights its unique features through several photos, showing off the interior, engine bay, iconic gold wheels, and adjustable rear wing. There's a detailed specification list covering everything from dimensions to the potent 2.2-liter turbocharged boxer engine, rated at 280 PS. Beyond the real car, the page ties back to SEGA Rally 2 by revealing 2 hidden modes for the arcade game. One is a clean screen mode that minimizes the HUD display for a more immersive view, and the other is a hotter versus play mode that encourages pure skill battles. It also showcases a special SEGA Rally 2 arcade cabinet with unique livery displayed at a Subaru showroom, demonstrating the strong connection between the game and the actual car manufacturer. Finally, there's a brief update section from the SEGA AM development team, letting fans know about their current status and upcoming projects. This page features the AM2 official corner, AM2 Express Weekly Special Volume 99, with a strong focus on fighting Vipers 2. The main headline provocatively asks, "Beware of similar items? Counterfeit guitar discovered?" Drawing attention to the character Raxel. The page shows screenshots and artwork of Raxel, highlighting that he appears with 2 different guitars. The classic symmetrical flying versus type seen in the original Fighting Vipers, and a new asymmetrical blue guitar. The article speculates whether one is fake, or if it's a deliberate change. Excitingly for fans, a section reveals that players can actually choose to use Raxel's symmetrical guitar from the original game. This is achieved by inputting a simple command after inserting a coin and before starting the match. This is presented as great news for dedicated Raxel players who preferred his look from the first game. The page also identifies the game as Fighting Vipers 2, running on Sega's Model 3 Step 2 hardware. Additionally, there is an apology from a contributor named Akashia Sanman, correcting an error in a previous article regarding a specific throw command in Fighting Vipers 2, providing the correct input sequence. This Fighting Vipers 2 system guide volume, written by Akashia Sanman and Mask de Hijite, focuses on character movement. It covers essential techniques, beginning with standard forward-facing movements like running, jumps, dashes, and sidesteps, explaining their inputs and tactical applications. Screenshots featuring Bon and Tokyo illustrate these maneuvers.
The guide also differentiates movement before and after a round begins, noting jump restrictions at the start. It then details backward-facing movement, including triangular wall jumps and wall-directed actions, showcased by Bon and Candy. Finally, the guide explores character-specific movement options, such as unique wall jumps and rolls for characters like Sandman, Tokyo, Emmy, Honey, Grace, Picky, and Raquel, providing vital tactical advantages. Mastering these movement techniques is crucial for success in fighting Vipers 2.
This page features a segment titled SEGA AM3 Official Project, Cyber Troopers Virtualon Crossover, Temporary, written by Suzuki Germans. The main focus is a major announcement, VR Girl Humanization Project. This article discusses the exciting plan to bring the VRS from Virtualon to life as human girl figures. The page showcases fan-submitted illustrations of humanized Virtualon characters. We see a beautiful rendition of Feiyan from Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, noted for its lovely CG work, and a dynamic take on Rated. There's also a sketched contribution featuring Virtualon Shiro, with a World Cup theme. Additionally, small photos show a cosplayer dressed as Fates, prompting a request for larger prints. The page highlights the enthusiasm and creativity surrounding the Virtua Cosplayon universe and this unique fan-driven project. This page continues the VR Girl Humanization Project, focusing on the VR Balbaspo from Cyber Troopers Virtualon. The page features a discussion involving prominent designers and creators like Mika Akitaka and Hajime Katoki, along with Suzuki German. They talk about the concept and design of the humanized Balbaspo, including gameplay impressions and artistic choices like coloring styles. The conversation touches on different design ideas, comparing Balbaspo's look to a motor show concept car, and debating character tropes like the Glasses Girl in the context of the project and other series like the Yuna series. They even provide some character specifications for the VR Girl version of Balbaspo. The page includes an illustration of the humanized design and concludes with a call for fans to submit ideas and contributions related to the concept. This page continues the coverage of the popular arcade game, Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, in its Basic Controls Master Edition Part 5. The focus here is on the revolutionary crouching melee and forward dash melee attacks, mechanics that were previously limited to specific Virtuoids in the original game, but are now universally available to all models in Oratorio Tangram. The page explains how performing these close-range attacks adds significant depth to combat. For instance, crouching melee often targets the opponent's feet, while forward dash melee allows for rapid closing of distance and immediate attack. Different Virtua Croids, like APHARMDB shown in the screenshots, utilize unique animations and properties for these universal inputs, showcasing the variety available. The report also touches on countermeasures, highlighting the effectiveness of guarding or using jumps to evade these powerful melee assaults. This shift to universal application of these techniques is presented as a major enhancement to the game's close-quarters battling, moving beyond simple one-pattern approaches. This guide delves into key movement and attack techniques in Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram, focusing on jump attacks and dash melees. Jump attacks are initiated by jumping and then attacking mid-air, with different attacks based on the trigger pressed and the Virtuoid used. Players can further maneuver with second jumps or air dashes, resulting in varied attack styles. Screenshots highlight Temjin's jump attacks, showcasing the impact of different triggers. The dash melee involves dashing forward and then pulling the lever back while pressing a trigger to execute a close-range attack. The trigger determines the attack's direction. Adjusting direction during the dash makes it harder to evade. The guide briefly illustrates Raiden's jump attacks, showcasing the diverse offensive capabilities and unique implementations per Virtua Meteoroid. This page continues the Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram guide, focusing on specific Virtuoids and their unique dash and jump attacks. Featured here are Feiyan KN, Cypher, and APHARMDB. Feiyan Gen's forward dash attacks utilize sword swings with a deceptive reach, and its jump attacks include a power-boosting wave, a knockdown preventing heart beam that creates hearts in hyper mode, and multi-directional hand beams in hyper mode. Cypher's forward dash attack transforms its multi-launcher into a sword, though its short reach can be limiting. Its jump attacks involve a fan of daggers that deal damage over time, a high-tracking homing beam, and an alternating barrage of vertical and horizontal beams. A PHARMDB showcases tonfa attacks for its forward dash, with the center attack delivering a powerful crossing strike. Its jump attacks feature a ground-leaving napalm bomb, a sonic ring with high destructive power generated by swinging the tonfas, and an 8-shot submachine gun burst that tracks downwards. The guide highlights the distinct properties and visual effects of these attacks for each Virtua Groid. This guide covers attack sets for 3 Virtualon Oratorio Tangram units: APHARMDS, Dordre, and Angelin. APHARMD-S focuses on close-range knife attacks and ranged missiles. Dordre utilizes a drill and claw, with a powerful spin attack and ranged fireballs.
Angelin employs a staff for close combat, supplemented by ice-based projectiles.
PHARMDS's dash attacks include quick and slow knives and a lariat. Jump attacks involve a napalm bomb, shoulder cannon grenades, and a missile barrage. Dordre's dash attacks feature a drill and claw. Jump attacks release a drill, a V-hurricane, and fireballs.
Angelin's dash attacks use staff swings and a body spin.
Jump attacks include an ice pillar, an ice dragon, and tracking ice bullets.
This page continues the in-depth strategy guide for the arcade hit, Virtual on Oratorio Tangram. It features 3 more Virtualoids, Balbados, Spesinef, and Grisvok, detailing their distinct attack sets with accompanying screenshots. First up is Balbados, a powerful heavy hitter. His dash attacks primarily involve aggressive sword or claw swings, including a fierce spinning move. For jump attacks, he can deploy floating mines that track downwards, detach parts of his arms to fire lasers, and unleash a barrage of tracking ring lasers. Next is Spesinef, a sleek and agile unit. Its dash attacks utilize claw and chain attacks, with a particularly notable piercing attack using its left claw, though the guide points out its dash range is quite short. Spesinef's jump attacks include a fast-tracking beam, a shockwave generated by a claw swing, which consumes a lot of weapon gauge, and a powerful beam from its long launcher. Finally, we have Grisvok, a ground-focused heavy unit. Its dash attacks are close-range uppercuts and a simultaneous arm attack, lacking significant reach. Grisvok excels in jump attacks with devastating ranged options, dropping napalm missiles that create sequential ground explosions, firing multiple missile volleys from its shoulders, and launching small missiles from its arm launcher. This page features a weekly horoscope section titled Mother Hakozaki's Horoscope for the period of May 15th to May 21st. Mother Hakozaki is introduced as having over 20 years of experience in fortune-telling and apparently advises the magazine's editorial staff. The page includes a Lucky Person of the Week panel featuring a character likely from the game Angel Graffiti's Feel, along with luck ratings for money, health, work, study, and love. The main content consists of horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs, each presented with separate illustrations and text for boy and girl. Each sign has a brief forecast offering advice for the week. Illustrations accompany each sign, depicting simplified, often humorous, representations of the zodiac animals or symbols for both genders. At the bottom, a key explains the symbols used to indicate the overall fortune level for each sign/gender combination, ranging from great condition to not so good. This page features a thought-provoking article titled The Subtle Relationship Between Games and Art, Eternal Solitude, presented as the 59th installment in a series. It focuses on the adventure game Riven, the sequel to Myst, identifying it as Work 59, released on April 9, 1998. The article delves into the feeling of loneliness the author experienced while exploring Riven's digital world, posing it as what the loneliness of the digital world taught me, 2 different feelings. The page includes a prominent image from the game, depicting a path and bridge in a detailed, somewhat stark landscape, reflecting the game's visual style. The author reflects on the solitary nature of navigating this virtual space, and interestingly draws a comparison between Riven's graphics and the atmosphere of traditional Japanese ink paintings, suggesting a shared sense of quiet solitude. The author is identified as Fuse Hidetoshi, whose likeness is shown in a small illustration holding a book about Riven. The article explores how the digital environment,
despite its connection to the real world, can paradoxically lead to feelings of isolation, prompting reflection on the nature of connection and communication in the digital age. This page features the reader-submitted Pinnacle of Secret Techniques corner for SEGA Saturn games. Readers can submit their findings for a chance to win prizes like SEGA Saturn software or book vouchers, with rankings based on the quality of their submissions. The first technique highlighted is for Super Robot Wars FA Final. It reveals a hidden birthday event for the protagonist. By setting the SEGA Saturn's internal date and time to April 27th, players can trigger a special scene featuring characters from Neon Genesis Evangelion celebrating the protagonist's birthday with a cake. Screenshots show the date-setting screen and the in-game birthday celebration scene. The second technique is for Graduation 2. Wine, Wedding Bell, a simulation game where you raise 5 girls. This trick details how to unlock the game's album mode, allowing players to listen to extra voices from the characters' voice actors. To achieve this, you must trigger and complete all date events for a specific character, after which their album becomes available. The page shows screenshots of character selection and an album status screen, indicating progression towards unlocking the content for the game's heroines. This page presents the weekly software review section, focusing on games releasing within the upcoming week. It features reviews from various perspectives: female users, the magazine's writing staff, and guest writers, offering different viewpoints on the software. 2 titles are reviewed this week. The first is Baroque, a 3D real-time RPG. Reviewers were drawn into its unique visual style and fictional world, though opinions were divided on the 3D dungeon crawling and real-time battles. It's noted for being difficult, especially early on, but the narrative hook of needing to die to progress the story was seen as a unique point. Despite some system quirks, the atmosphere and world-building were highlights. Scores were 7 and 6. The second game reviewed is Super Real Mahjong P7. This Mahjong title supports the 4 MB RAM expansion cartridge. Key features include a story mode with multiple characters and detailed animations, particularly the series' signature undressing scenes, which are praised for their quality. Reviewers appreciated the fast loading times and lack of stress compared to other Mahjong games. But the story mode was considered a bit short. The game also offers various extras. Scores were 7 and 7. This week's SEGA Saturn software reviews showcase mixed results. Shadows of the Tusk, a character battle sim, received mixed scores, 5.33, due to a confusing interface and weak AI, though PvP potential was noted. Idol Janshi, Final Romance 4, a Mahjong game, 5.66, was praised for its character art, but criticized for its slow pace, tedious item finding, and lengthy loading times. The story mode featured adventure elements. Multi-Lancer Reinforce, a port from the PlayStation, was the clear winner, 8.33. Critics praised its improvements over the PS version: high completion level, enjoyable romance elements, smooth graphics, and full voice acting. Both female and staff reviewers found it approachable and well made, making it a recommended purchase for fans. This page is all about the SEGA Saturn Magazine Reader Present campaign. The main draw here is your chance to win some sweet gear. You can potentially score one of 20 SEGA Saturn software titles of your choice, released up to May 29th. If you're into classic SRPGs, there's a cool Langrisser cap up for grabs for 3 lucky winners. For fans of anime and Konami titles, they're giving away a Sakura Tanjay memo pad and telephone card set, featuring characters like those from Tokimeki Memorial. There are also tattoo seals from Langrisser and Chaoju Kishin Dankuga, perfect for showing off your fandom. Rounding out the prizes are comprehensive guides, a game character goods encyclopedia covering series like Sakura Taisen, and a complete guide to anime song karaoke. Beyond the prizes, the page provides essential magazine info. It announces the next issue's focus, including details on Sega's mysterious Next Machine and updates on Friends and Rhapsody. There's also the magazine's staff list, a call for new writers, the release date for the next issue, May 22nd for the June 5th issue, and contact information for inquiries about the magazine's content, but no game hints. Lastly, they've listed the winners from the previous present campaign from the May 1st issue. It's a packed page focused on reader engagement and hyping up upcoming news. This page showcases the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, High School Terra Story. The vibrant image features a prominent anime girl with flowing purple hair tied back with a large yellow bow, gazing upwards. The text on the right reads, "Won't you try falling in love?" Perfectly setting the tone for this title. The page highlights that the SEGA Saturn version is a significant improvement over the PC release, boasting richer content and beautiful graphics, rendered in 32,000 colors. New CG illustrations have been added, further enhancing the game's appeal. High School Terra Story is confirmed to be a beautiful girl romance simulation game, developed by Kindle Imagine Develop. It's scheduled for release with a price of 5,800 yen, excluding tax, and is rated 18 years and older. There's also a pre-order campaign offering a special clear poster for all who reserve the game. The next page is a feature spread for the SEGA Saturn title, Baroque, described as a new Type 3 DRPG. It showcases striking character designs, including a winged figure, a mysterious robed entity, a small grotesque winged creature, a woman with long blonde hair, and the protagonist wielding a distinctive weapon, all set against a background featuring abstract patterns and what appears to be game environments. The page announces the game's release date as May 21, 1998, with a price of 6,800 yen excluding tax. It also highlights the simultaneous release of the original soundtrack, composed by Yasunori Iwata, known for his work on games like Final Fantasy Tactics. The soundtrack features 18 tracks.
The game itself is developed and published by Sting and especially